All right, we are live for the Imola Grand Prix today, and it is raining in Imola today, so it's going to be a lot of exciting racing. I can already feel it. So we have our starting grid, which is going to be Leclerc and Verstappen starting on the front row, and well, we've seen their battles yesterday, and I expect a lot more today. And with these wet conditions, there is so many opportunities to make overtakes and to just have some amazing racing. I cannot wait. Hello, everyone that is tuned in. Pele just stormed Roman, Legend League, Marcel Dinos. Hello, everyone that is tuning in today. We have got the Imola Grand Prix. All right. So I was going to talk about race strategy, but considering it's raining, the race strategy is going to be significantly different right now. So the traditional strategy that Pirelli recommended was just a one-stop strategy. You start on the mediums and then go onto the hard tires. But problem with that is it's raining right now, so you can't exactly go on the mediums. Um, but the medium should last around about 25 laps, and then the hard tyres should last around about 35 to 40 laps. And the soft tyres will last around about 20 laps, so the same as the sprint yesterday. Everyone that's tuning in, really do appreciate it. It's time to go racing. Well, in 28 minutes, but nevertheless, I cannot wait for this race to begin. I'm just going to give you a quick weather update on what it looks like in well what the weather is in Imola today. So here is Imola on the map. This is where the circuit is at Castel Bolognese. I'm not sure exactly, but this is the rain right now. So the more yellow it is, the harder the rain, and it's pretty light rain right now, but still that makes it intermediate conditions. And intermediate conditions it's still rain, and it's still great to look forward to. So that is what's going to happen there. Yeah, spaghetti bolognese. We might as well just call it that. All right. So let's get into what's going to happen during the race. All right. So just as a thing to note for when the race has actually begun, there is when you pit, sorry, you lose 26 seconds in the pit stops, and if you pit under a virtual safety car or a safety car, you'll lose 17 seconds under a pit stop. So that's why Pirelli have suggested a one-stop strategy, because it's such a long pit lane. You lose loads of time, and that's the reason why Pirelli are predicting one stops. But with this weather, we could probably get a two-stop race, because the thing is, when you switch from your wet tires, when it switches from wet conditions to dry conditions, you want the grippiest tires possible. Otherwise, you're going to be sliding around a lot. So, I assume when the transition does occur from intermediate to soft tires, from intermediates to slicks, most drivers are going to go onto soft tires. Some drivers might risk it and go onto the mediums and try to go to the end of the race, but their initial part of the stint is going to be very, very slippy indeed. We'll have to wait and see which teams decide to risk it, which teams don't. But I have a feeling that Mercedes are going to go for the bold strategy, considering they really haven't got much to lose, since their car is not so quick this weekend round. All right. So let's see what else is there to talk about. Well, we've got the battle between Leclerc and Verstappen, which has been raging for the last couple of races now. We're going to see a pretty good strategy battle as well, between Red Bull and Ferrari, and who makes the correct strategy call. And yeah, all right, there could definitely be a red flag. Yeah. We'll just have to wait and see. Latifi DNF. Yeah, boat racing. Yeah, it might be boat racing. Who knows? And then we've got the McLarens, in fact, starting in 5th and 6th. So that's pretty interesting. We'll wait and see how they go in the wet conditions. Oh, there is one thing to note, though, that the Ferraris in the wet conditions were so much faster than the Red Bulls in the wets. So we'll see if that transfers over to race pace. That was kind of in qualifying and in practice. The Ferraris had loads of pace in the wet, and then it was kind of equal when it came to dry conditions. We'll see how it is. But of course, even if in Leclerc's position he has the faster car, he has to deal with all of the spray ahead of him, which is, well, very, very tough indeed, because the spray just reduces your visibility. You can't see the track. You don't know where the corner is really. You kind of just gotta feel for it, feel for the grip and stuff like that. So we'll wait and see how Leclerc can do when he is behind Verstappen and probably in quite a bit of spray. All right. Let's see what else is there to. There's something else to watch out for, and that is probably going to be how Guan Yu Zhou performs in these conditions, because I think it's his first wet like sprint, I guess, a wet race in Formula One. So it'll be interesting to see how the rookie performs in qualifying. In the wet conditions, he was doing exceptionally well, so maybe he'll be able to progress up the field and catch up to Bottas. It'll be a pretty tall order considering he's going to be starting from the pit lane today because of his DNF yesterday. But the fact that he's starting from the pit lane allows him to make setup changes that suit the race. So some teams, they might have gone for a wet setup, and that's going to benefit them today. And some teams might have went for the dry setup, and they're not going to be quick because it's wet conditions, at least right now for the starting part of the race. But Guan Yu Zhou, he has complete control over what his setup's going to be, because since he's starting from the pit lane, you're allowed to change what your setup is, which is going to be pretty good there for Guan Yu Zhou. And Mick Schumacher, yes, Mick Schumacher. Fabio says, I hope Mick gets some points. Yes, Mick is starting in 10th position, and hopefully he can score some points for Haas. We'll just have to wait and see how he performs in the wet. If he's anything like his dad, then he should move up the field for sure. If the wet conditions, it can definitely cause a big crash or a safety car. We had wet conditions here last year, and we had a very big crash between Valtteri Bottas and George Russell. And I don't think that's going to happen this year, because George Russell's nowhere near Valtteri Bottas's pace. Rather the opposite of what we were expecting. But yeah, I don't think we're going to get that many. I don't think we're going to get that many crashes, because the drivers will be going safely, and it's not full like wet conditions or anything. It will be intermediate tires as far as I can tell, and it's not too heavy. Looking at the weather radar and looking at the conditions on track, so not too much to worry about just yet. The drivers will be picking the intermediates as far as I can tell, but we'll have to just double check for that when the data does come through of which tires the teams will be using. Yeah, I mean, Haas could definitely score double points this season. And this race is a really good opportunity. I mean, the thing is, the rain really puts everyone on a more level playing field, because it's much more down to driver skill and how your team reacts to the changing conditions, which could define if you score points or not, rather than in the normal dry, where if you have a fast car, then you're going to get some points, and if you're not, then you're going to be slowed down. But nevertheless, we'll have to wait and see how that is. And maybe you could see Lance Stroll, because he's very, very good in the wet conditions, progress up from 15th place and potentially score some points. We'll just have to wait and see. Some drivers are going to go up, some drivers are going to go down, and I have a feeling we're going to get a couple of DNFs as well. There's no torrential rain. It is just light rain in Imola today, but nevertheless, rain is rain, and that is going to make the race a whole lot more exciting. Yes, a second gear start is better at the start of the race. That's something that I think Kimi Raikkonen, in fact, it was 2019 Germany. It was either Kimi Raikkonen or Seb Vettel, but he started the race in third gear because of the fact that you get so much wheel spin if you start in first gear. It's absolutely horrific. So we'll see which drivers decide to do that. We might not be able to check which gear they're in, or we might, depending on what the data gives us. I don't exactly remember just yet, but we could see which gears the drivers are starting in, and that'd be interesting to see who gets a quicker start, who gets the worst start. It's just normal rain, not torrential rain, but nevertheless, rain is, yeah, I've already said that, rain's rain. We've got Valtteri Bottas starting in seventh place. He hasn't had the best track record in rain, having some horrible weekends back in Turkey, but he did redeem himself last year and got that race win in Turkey in the wet conditions as well. So he definitely did go on improve after that. So we'll wait and see if that carries over to his race today in the Alfa Romeo. We've got Fernando Alonso as well. We know he's great in the rain, so we'll see how he performs there. And the thing is, Leclerc may have the faster car in the wet conditions because the Ferrari is slightly quicker than the Red Bull in the wet conditions. But then we know that Max Verstappen is so good in the wet conditions. Like, if any of you guys watched his race back in 2016 in Brazil, that was an absolute masterclass of driving in the rain. So we all know Verstappen has a lot of pace in the rain, and if Leclerc has that faster car, we could see for a lot of very good racing indeed. The other thing is DRS will not be enabled because of the rain, at least for the first part of the race, which might hamper a bit of the overtaking. We'll have to wait and see, but I suspect there's going to be some drivers who are a lot quicker in the rain than the others, and that's going to bring us a lot of overtaking anyway. All right, the race is starting in 20 minutes time. So let me know what your predictions are in the chat, guys. And if you haven't hit the like button, please be sure to do so. It really does help out the channel. And yes, supports the stream, and it'll be great. Well, mainly if you hit the like button, the YouTube algorithm's like, oh my god, everyone loves this stream, and then recommends it to everyone, which is lovely. All right. So let's see what else is there to talk about. We have, of course, it is, what was I going to say? Mercedes. Yeah, they're down in 11th and 14th. And looking at the wet performance of the Mercedes, I genuinely saw George Russell literally violently shaking up and down. Like, the porpoising of the Mercedes was so bad that George Russell was shaking up and down in the car, and he had to lift off because the porpoising was so bad. Like, going down the straight at Imola, he was reaching around about 270, 280 kilometers an hour, but the porpoising got so bad that he literally had to lift off the accelerator pedal on the straight to like make sure his car doesn't just shake to bits. So that's going to be something to watch out for if Mercedes can actually perform in the wet. Mercedes were really bad in the wet conditions, and then they got better in the dry yesterday. But nevertheless, if it's wet conditions like it is now, Mercedes are not going to be looking so happy. Is it wet today, or will it be? It is raining right now. The rain may stop by the time the race has begun, but all of the teams are still wearing their raincoats. None of them have got their hoods on, which is a sign that it's not raining too heavily, but nevertheless, wet conditions, we might see the rain like start falling even harder. So any of you guys that have just joined right now, I'm just going to give you a quick update on the weather. So here we go. This is Imola. I'm just going to refresh the weather. In fact, there we go. All right. So this is where the racetrack is over here. And the more yellow it is, the harder the rain. So, and the wind is blowing in this direction, of course. So there is still rain. There's more rain to come for sure. So when the rain does get here, the worst part of the rain is gone. It's already gone past, and it's already gone over the track. But there's still more rain to come over here. So this is professional weatherman F1 gamer right here, giving you a full weather update on where the rain's coming from and where it's going to go. But it is raining in Imola right now. So there you go. All right. Good luck, Red Bull, Super Max and Checo. Well, Sergio Perez did an absolutely amazing job yesterday. He started the sprint race in 8th position, now climbed his way all the way up into 3rd. And the same can be said for Carlos Sainz. He started the sprint race in 10th and got himself all the way up to 1st. Sainz, in fact, gained the most positions out of anyone in the sprint race. So it was Sainz who gained 6, Sergio Perez who gained 5, and Yuki Tsunoda who gained 4. So great driving from all 4 of them. Lando Norris was someone to lose out, though. He started the race in 3rd place, and now he's dropped down into 5th. So that's not so good. there. Will the drivers start on the inters or the slicks? Not exactly sure. The data has not come through yet because all of the teams, what they've done, they've got their tire blankets over the cars, and they've also hidden all of the tire markings, so we can't tell if it's green or red or whichever soft tires it is or whatever. So we don't know. But when we do know, I will tell you guys, keep you updated because well, the tire choices are pretty important for the race today. All right. So George Russell has said it was horrible an hour ago, which we could see from the weather data, but it will transitions to slicks at some point. So it could be transitioning to slicks right now. We'll just have to wait and see. But we've got, what is it, top 10 cars has 6 different teams. That's, yeah, pretty crazy. It's good to see there's so much variety, in fact, like in the points of Formula One. Before it was just Mercedes, Red Bull, Ferrari, and then you would have maybe a McLaren and like a Racing Point, and that would be about it. And it really wasn't interesting. But now the rain has mixed it all up, the sprint race has mixed it all up, and we could definitely see a lot of action here. Is a sprint Oh no, is a Latifi crash probable? Well, is a Latifi crash ever not probable? You know what I mean? So yeah, I'm expecting there to be at least one DNF today, mainly due to a driver mistake. We'll have to wait and see though. Based on the weather map, it looks like the track's going to be wet and green. Inters would be the right call. Yes, it does say 1 millimeter of rain, so I'm not sure exactly how much 1 millimeter of rain is because I've never gone outside and actually measured how tall the rain is, but we'll wait and see. Looking at the TV footage right now, the track looks damp in parts, definitely. But there's no drivers. There's not that many people with umbrellas around. Like, it's not raining that bad. But nevertheless, it's not torrential rain basically, but it is still raining. And there's definitely damp parts on the track right now. So we'll have to wait and see. All right. So let's see. Yeah, so Christian Horner has just said the rain is coming. So that's it. I think I'll stop talking about the rain now because we've been talking about that for a long time. But 13 minutes till the race, till lights out, well, till the start of the formation lap. But there's definitely going to be some sort of collision on lap number 1. Hi MCTG and BMG313. Nice to see you guys are back. And everyone that's tuning in fact, 1,600 people. If you guys could all smash the like button and subscribe, that would be very much appreciated. It really does help out the channel. So, yeah, thank you everyone for tuning in. And the commentary commentary for the race will start beginning shortly. Lando Norris has just said, I'm excited. Similar conditions to last year, wet and drying out. Opportunities could come our way. We just have to be there to take them. If you guys remember back to last year, we had that great battle between Lando Norris and Lewis Hamilton for the final podium position at Imola last year. So Lando Norris could repeat what he did last year and this time potentially actually go on to win, get that 3rd place. It might be a bit tough at the front, but if there is a crash between Leclerc and Verstappen, which there potentially could be, we could see some surprise podiums for sure. All right. So let's see. Hello from Denmark. Well, nice to see we've got fans from all around the world. It's very cool, in fact, that we've got fans from all around the world listening into this commentary. All right. So what else is going on? What's happened to Hamilton and the car? Is the rain a good thing for Lewis? Well, the rain may be a good thing for Lewis because Lewis is a good driver in the rain, of course, but I don't think it's a good thing for the Mercedes car because the Mercedes car gets significantly worse in the wet conditions. So it's not going to really play into Hamilton's favor. Like, the Mercedes car is going to get slower and Hamilton's going to be quick in the rain. So I think it'll kind of just balance out rather than Hamilton go up the field because the Mercedes car looks absolutely horrible in the wet conditions. So there we go. Kevin Magnussen, who is starting in eighth place, and the same can be said for Mick Schumacher. Both of those drivers in FP1, they were quick in the wet conditions. They were P4 and P5 in FP1, as it says at the bottom of my screen there. But yeah, they were good in the wet conditions, so we could definitely see them move up the field, and that'd be great to see. And maybe double points for Haas, which would be absolutely amazing. Watching from California, wow. Well, I mean, the time zones must be pretty bad for this race, but there we go. I mean, time zones are bad for every someone somewhere in the world probably has bad time zones. But yeah, we'll wait and see. See, well, almost every driver is good in the rain too. The thing is, right, this is Formula One. These are the 20 best drivers in the world. So all of them have come around from all around the world, and they've progressed through the ranks because they're good in the wet, good in the dry, and have so much consistency. So every F1 driver is good. It's just that which driver is that tiny little bit extra better compared to the rest of them. And then those drivers are the ones that rise to the top. We'll just have to wait and see. But the atmosphere in Imola is absolutely crazy. We've got all of the Tifosi going mental, as they always do. And if there's a battle between Leclerc and Verstappen, you could probably hear them over all of the noise of the cars because, well, they are very, very loud indeed. Oh yeah, 19 best drivers. I forgot about Nicholas Latifi. No, I'm just joking. But yeah, we'll wait and see how that goes for him. If he does crash out, we could probably see a yellow flag or something caused by Nicholas Latifi at least. Everyone that is tuned in, though, if you guys haven't smashed the like button, please be sure to do so. And if you haven't subscribed already, it really would help out the channel. So everyone that is subscribing, like Aldrin, I don't know how to say that name, sorry, but Matthew Laurent, everyone that is subscribed, thank you so, so much. All right, so Toto Wolff has just said the colder it gets, the harder we find it to generate grip in the tire. Now it's warmer and wet, so theoretically we aren't competitive, but we'll see. On paper, we aren't fighting for a win, but that doesn't mean in 6 races we won't be fighting for it. So Toto Wolff has got a lot of faith in that Mercedes team. And I think what he thinks is going to happen to the Mercedes is what happened to the McLaren. McLaren were third slowest, and they were having significant issues at the start of this season. But they fixed them and then turned it around, and now they're third fastest team on the grid. So I think that's what Toto Wolff is expecting. Once they find the fix for the porpoising and any other small issues that they have in that car, Toto Wolff really does think that they're going to be fighting for some race wins. Yeah, that's the main thing to point out. Tire temperature is going to be pretty difficult to build up in these conditions. So, the driver that do go out on the harder tires are going to really struggle, at least definitely in the first couple of laps of their stint. We'll just have to wait and see how that plays out for them later into the race, because obviously the harder tires will last you a lot longer and you won't have to do an extra pit stop maybe. But we'll just have to wait and see. We don't really know. The race is starting in 7 minutes time, and I cannot wait. Sean Burke and Ivan Djokovic, thank you for the subscriptions, and everyone else that's subscribed. I can't read out all of your names because there are so many of you, but I really do appreciate all of the support. If we cast our minds back to 2020, where we had a race here in Imola, there was a very good battle between Verstappen and Hamilton, especially going into turn number 1, where Verstappen got pretty feisty and pushed Lewis Hamilton onto the bouncy yellow sausage curb, which gave him a bit of damage. We'll just have to see what Verstappen does. Does he fight it any differently this time? Now he's got a bit more experience. Does he go as aggressive with the Leclerc, or does he play a bit safe and maybe make an overtake later on into the race? All right. 6 minutes now, and the time is just ticking down, and I cannot wait. All right. Let's see. There is some other interesting stats that I can't find now. I don't know where they were. Oh yeah, so Leclerc, if you guys remember yesterday's race, Leclerc was leading for 19 of 21 laps, and then Verstappen made the overtake on the second to last lap of the race. But Leclerc said that they were really struggling with graining, and graining is basically where you don't get enough tire temperature at the start of your stint, and that causes your tires to wear out a lot quicker throughout the rest of your stint. So maybe on lap number 1 and 2, you don't get enough tire temperature, and then towards lap number 10 and 15, your tires start to wear out a lot quicker compared to all of the other drivers. So that's what Leclerc experienced yesterday. His tires didn't heat up that quickly at the start of the race, and then towards the end of his stint, his tires started to wear out a lot, and that's why Verstappen could catch up to him. And that might be an issue for Leclerc today, because the track temperatures are even lower. Yesterday they were 29 degrees, today they're 18 degrees. So Leclerc could really be struggling in terms of tyre wear. So that would make the strategy all the more interesting, and we'll wait and see how that plays out for him. But we don't want to see the cars driving sliding around, of course. We'll have to wait and see. What is the point of the formation lap? For all the rookie photographers to manage to take a photo? No. In fact, the point of the formation lap is, obviously, the thing is, Formula One cars, they have an optimal working temperature. So their tyres work optimal conditions at around about 80 to 100 degrees. And their brakes work at optimal temperatures around about, I think it's 400 to like 800 degrees. So the thing is, once you're on the grid where all the mechanics and the engineers are stood around, you can't have 400-degree brakes, because they're firstly going to set on fire, and it's really dangerous to have something that hot and like next to a bunch of people. So what they do is, the formation lap there is to make sure everything is functional on the car and ready for the race. And so the tires and the brakes and all of the engine components get up to the correct temperature, operating temperature, so that when the drivers go into turn number 1, their cars are actually working properly, rather than being kind of hampered by the fact that they're not in optimal conditions. And then the other thing is, because all of the mechanics and the engineers are stood around the cars right now, like there's 4 minutes left till the formation lap, all of the engineers are stood around the cars, so they need to get back into the pit lane so they can get to their computers and start analysing the race. So that gives them time to move all of the equipment and themselves into the pit box. So there we go. That's the reason why we have a formation lap. 4 minutes now till the race begins. I'm just going to give another quick weather update. So let's just refresh the weather. Whoops, right, there we go. All right, so this is Castor Bolognese, is where the racetrack is in Imola. This is the rain that was there before, so it's pretty heavy rain before. Now it's pretty light, and there's still a lot more rain to come, but the fact is that it's quite light rain, so we'll just have to wait and see how that goes. But back to the track, back to the statistics. Arnold de Gans has just donated 99 cents. So thank you for the donation, really do appreciate it. And any donation, guys, is very much appreciated. It really does help out the channel. So thank you all so much. Even for your support, smashing the like button and subscribing helps out so much as well. Is it raining now? Yes, it is. Can I tell the tires? I'm just going to double check that. Let's see, have the tires come through? Yes, they have. Everyone is starting on intermediate tires. Let's go. All right. So everyone's starting inters. The race is going to be absolutely world class. There we go. Hello, Game of Faction King. It could be a one-stop strategy. It could be a two-stop. The thing is, when the drivers switch from intermediate tires to slick tires, if they switch onto the soft tires, that might not get them to the end of the race, but that's going to give them tire temperature at the start. But then if they switch onto the medium tires, then they could get to the end of the race, but once they come out the pit lane, they're going to be really slow. So we'll have to wait and see what it's going to be. But it is intermediate tires. Everyone that has subscribed and tuned in, thank you so much. Christian Clipper Pert, I don't know how to say that, sorry. I'm messing up all of your names. Arc Romeo, the Epic Gamer. Thank you everyone for subscribing. Looking forward to this race now. So 2 minutes. I'm going to run you through the starting grid. Shalom, once again, thank you for another donation. That's 3 donations now in 3 streams. So seriously, thank you so much. It's very much appreciated. Okay, we've got 4,000 people tuning in. If you guys can smash the like button as hard as Nicholas Latifi is going to hit the wall, then that would be really appreciated. But let's go. The race commentary is going to begin. So on the starting row of the grid, we have Max Verstappen and Charles Leclerc. They've been battling away for the past couple of weeks and yesterday, and I expect a lot more battles to come from them in the wet conditions today. We've got Sergio Perez and Carlos Sainz on the second row of the grid. They've both had amazing recovery drives yesterday. Perez gaining 5 positions and Carlos Sainz gaining 6 from their initial starting grid slots, and now they're up into 3rd and 4th. Unknown has donated 99 cents. Thank you for the donation. Once again, thank you. So yeah, I don't know what to say. Thank you. It really is appreciated. Then we have a McLaren 3rd row lockout, 5th and 6th. That pretty much confirms for us the McLaren are the 3rd fastest car on the grid. And then in 7th place, alongside Valtteri Bottas, we have Kevin Magnussen in 8th. Both those drivers in the Ferrari-powered car in Italy, and they'll be looking to score some solid points. And if there is any action or collisions up ahead, they'll be looking to capitalize and go up a couple of positions. We've got Alonso and Schumacher starting alongside each other, very, very similar to what it was back in 2005. So that's great to see, and we'll see if Mick can actually score some points here and replicate the wet weather driving like his dad did all these years ago in Imola. We've got George Russell and Yuki Tsunoda in 11th and 12th place. Russell will be really struggling with that porpoising. He was struggling on Friday, struggling on Saturday, and today's Sunday. We'll see if he can turn it around. Yuki Tsunoda went up 4 positions, started the sprint race in 16th. He's now up into 4th. Up into 12th, sorry, gained 4 positions in the sprint race, so a solid job there from him. We'll see if he can go even higher up. Sebastian Vettel started the sprint race in 8th, all the way down into 13th now, so that's not ideal for him, but the Aston Martin car really didn't deserve to be in 8th anyway. It was just a bit of luck and a nice lap from Seb Vettel to put him up there. Albin Quasar, thank you for the donation. Hoping for a good battle up front. I think you can expect that. This is currently the formation lap, guys. The race has not started. We are underway on the formation lap. We have got Vettel and Hamilton in 13th and 14th. Back in 2018, Sebastian Vettel and Lewis Hamilton were starting at the front row of the grid. Here they are in 13th and 14th. We've got Verstappen and Leclerc. The youngsters have taken over. Now on 15th and 16th, we've got Lance Stroll and Esteban Ocon. Both drivers looking to capitalize and go up a couple of positions. They had both compromised qualifying sessions. The same can be said for Pierre Gasly and Alex Albon, neither of them performing as they expected. And we've got Nicholas Latifi in last place and Guan Yu Zhou starting from the pit lane after his crash yesterday in the sprint race. 7,000 people tuning in. Thank you so much. Everyone that's tuning in, really do appreciate it. We have a wet race today in Imola with Leclerc and Verstappen starting in the lead. You love to see it. All right, let's look at the data, and hopefully we can find out maybe the gears that the drivers will be starting the race in. So just because the conditions are wet right now, if you start the race in first gear, you're going to get a whole lot of wheel spin. So the data that's come up here, the numbers in green, if you guys can see that, it might be a bit small for anyone that's on a phone, but the numbers that are in green are signifying the numbers, the gear that the drivers are in. So we could see some drivers starting the race in second gear, and that could give them a better start. We'll just have to wait and see how that plays out for them. All right. So let's go. The track is drying. The rain is getting slightly lighter, but nevertheless, we have damp conditions on the track, and all of the drivers are on intermediate tires. So here they go, coming out of the final corner now. Most of the drivers just lining up on their grid slot, getting ready to go racing. All right. So here we are at Imola for the third time in the turbo hybrid era. We have Max Verstappen and Charles Leclerc starting on the front row of the grid. Everyone has lined up. We have Alonso, who's lining up now, but with him Schumacher, then Russell and Tsunoda, and the final 8 drivers now just coming to their grid slot, and we will start this race immediately. All right. So, we have Leclerc starting the race in second gear, and so is Verstappen, and so is Sainz. Loads of drivers deciding to use the second gear to start their race. All right, let's switch to the tyre conditions. And this is it now. The drivers are all lined up on the grid. It is 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 lights, and it's Lights out and away we go. All right, so Verstappen and Leclerc, both of them getting a whole lot of wheel spin, and Perez is right on the back of Leclerc. Leclerc is losing position, so is Carlos Sainz. Both Ferraris losing so much at the start of this race. Leclerc, but we got a Red Bull 1-2 and a yellow flag on the track. It looks like Carlos Sainz has had an incident and he is falling down the order. Oh no, not again for Carlos Sainz. He is having an absolute horrid time at Ferrari here. We've got a yellow flag out on track because Carlos Sainz has crashed. Okay, all right, we'll see how long that takes to recover, but Sainz is out of this race alongside Daniel Ricciardo. It looks like both of those drivers tangled, and so did Mick Schumacher. He's into 7th position. He's lost 7 places. So Carlos Sainz and Daniel Ricciardo. Daniel Ricciardo is still going. Carlos Sainz is stuck on track. We've got a yellow flag right now, and we'll see if we get a virtual safety car or not. At the front of the grid, though, Leclerc's lost 2 positions. Norris is up onto 3rd, is currently in a podium place, and Vettel's gained 4 positions. Absolutely amazing. We've got a full safety car. So this is really going to help out everyone get some tire temperature. And here's the safety car is loaded up on the map. I think it's moving as well. It was broken yesterday, but that's good to see. Safety car now has been deployed, and there we go. Charles Leclerc starting the race in 2nd place, dropped all the way down to 4th. He had a horrible start and perfect start for both the Red Bulls. We got a Red Bull 1-2, exactly what they would have wanted to see. And Lando Norris up in 3rd place, and unfortunately his teammate is down all the way in 19th. So let's get a replay of what's happened there. But we've got 10,000 people watching. Everyone that's tuned in, thank you so much. Really is appreciated. If you guys haven't smashed the like button as well, it does help out the channel so much. Hopefully we can get 1,000 likes with 10,000 people watching. That's great. Yeah, so Sainz and Ricciardo both tangled, but Sainz got stuck in the gravel, so that is why he's out of this race. It's going to take them a while to take his car out of the gravel trap, but he is out. So there we go. George Russell is up into P6. I'm sorry, guys. I completely missed that. But he started the race down in 13th place, I think. And he's up into 6th place. Gained so many positions off that race start. Absolutely great for him. Same can be said for Sebastian Vettel. So Vettel gaining 4 positions. George Russell gaining, I think, 5 or 6. And Norris as well, going from 5th position up into 3rd. Great job there from those drivers. And most of the drivers have just held position or gained some because of the DNFs. All right, we've got some team radio from Max Verstappen. Let's listen to what he has to say.
Car behind Checo.
Yeah, car behind Checo. So that's just good news for Max Verstappen. There's going to be no one attacking him behind because, well, we know Red Bull are just going to employ a tiny bit of team orders there and say, Verstappen, you take the lead of this race and we'll let Sergio Perez stay behind you. Russell started in P11 and he's now up into 6th place. All right, well, thank you for the info, Jay. Do appreciate it. Sainz got pushed, yeah. So let's see. All right. Lap counter is not working. Oh yeah, that's totally my fault. Sorry about that, guys. There we go. Where is it? There we go. 2 out of 63 laps. Sorry about that. Totally forgot. So it's lap number 2. We are under safety car conditions. We've got Leclerc and Verstappen. Verstappen and Perez holding the lead here. So what happened between Carlos Sainz and Daniel Ricciardo going through into turn number 1? It looked like Carlos Sainz slightly just turned in on Daniel Ricciardo, and he expected Daniel Ricciardo to back out really, but so Carlos Sainz turned in on Daniel Ricciardo, and that's why he is out of this race. He got beached in the gravel as well. Can I show the camera? Unfortunately, I can't because Formula 1 will copyright me, and I'm not too keen on getting copyrighted. Daniel Ricciardo said, I got pushed into Sainz. So it looked like Daniel Ricciardo got a bit of a bump from behind, which pushed him into Carlos Sainz. Which wasn't great. Yeah, he got bumped by someone else, but it's heartbreaking for Carlos Sainz, who's at his home race, well, at Ferrari's home race, is not even going to finish. Right, I think we've got some more team radio from Max Verstappen. Yes, we do. Right, let's listen to this.
Max, do you want slicks?
No, not yet, mate, not yet.
Understood. Stay out.
All right, so they're thinking about switching to slicks. So the thing is about the intermediate tires. Intermediate tires can, they can, what's it called? They can displace 35 liters of water every single second while driving on the track. So there is rain falling, of course, all over the racetrack. But with 20 F1 cars, each with 4 Pirelli intermediate tires, that can displace a whole lot of water. So even if there are wet parts, even if it's still raining, the intermediate tires are getting rid of that water so quickly. It might be time to switch onto the intermediates. That's what Red Bull are trying to work out, if it's the correct choice to switch onto the inters or not yet. But driving around in these safety car conditions, that means the teams, all they're doing is just clearing water off the track so they can go racing. We'll wait and see how that goes for them. But the track is getting drier and drier. I'm going to give you guys a weather update because we are under safety car conditions. So yeah, this is currently, this is where the racetrack is over here. There is more rain forecast. They've just missed this heavy patch of rain over here, and this was the bit of the rain that was there before. But yeah, there's still rain falling on the track, and it'll be some while before it stops. Before it's completely stopped. All right. Still under safety car conditions, though. It's not coming in this lap. We've got some team radio between Lando Norris and his garage, and just an info from the stewards. There is no investigation needed between Carlos Sainz and Daniel Ricciardo.
And Lando, just some information about the cars around you then. So behind you is Leclerc, then Magnussen, Russell, Bottas, and Alonso.
Yeah, so they're just giving some information to Lando Norris on where everyone else is. So what has happened what was I going to say? I totally forgot what I was going to say. Right, well, just never mind. Back to the race. No one yet has decided to go for the slicks. We've got team radio from Daniel Ricciardo. He came into the pits, I think, to get a replacement front wing, but he has come out and he's still on the tail of the safety car.
Okay, so Sainz's car is being moved, still double yellows, turn 2, 3, 4. Zhou is the back car, he's in 5 now.
All right, so yeah, that was just some info for Daniel Ricciardo. But that is great to see. Carlos Sainz out of the car, he's totally fine. They're picking up, they've picked it up onto the back of the truck now, and they will be taking that away taking that way back to the Ferrari garage, where they can go, where they can fix that car. But there we go. Carlos Sainz crashed into Daniel Ricciardo, so that is what happened there. We've got 12,000 people watching. Everyone that's tuned in, thank you so much. If you could hit 1,500 likes, that would be insane. And if you guys haven't subscribed as well, it really would help out the channel. We're trying to hit 35k this weekend, and if we've got 12k people watching, I definitely think some of you guys aren't subscribed, because YouTube says 90% of people aren't subscribed. Also, safety car is in this lap, as far as I can tell, unless Verstappen's just going really slowly, but safety car is in this lap. So I'm going to switch that to green flag in a second. In a second, but yeah, safety car coming in, and there we go. All right, so let's go now. We'll be going racing in a matter of seconds. Safety car is going into the pit lane. Verstappen has backed everyone up. The new FIA rules say you have to be single file under safety car conditions. Even if the safety car is coming in, you must stay single file, cannot go side by side. So it might be a bit tough for Leclerc to get for Norris to get a slipstream on Perez, or Leclerc to get a slipstream on Norris. We'll wait and see though. But Max Verstappen comes out the final corner now, and it looks like he has slammed that accelerator. No wheel spin for him though, and he goes safely across the line, accelerating away up into 8th gear and 300 kilometers an hour. Here we go. Safety car is in, and it looks like we've got a battle brewing between Vettel and Tsunoda side by side going into turn number 1. No contact or anything, but Vettel makes a move on Alonso. In fact, back in like 10 years ago, that's where we had Vettel and Alonso battling for the lead of the race. Now they're down in 9th and 8th position, but Vettel moving up very nicely from 13th all the way up into 8th. Great race start for him. Max Verstappen still maintaining that lead at the front of this this race. Fastest first sector of any driver, doing an absolutely solid job. Leclerc is all over the back of Lando Norris. Lando Norris is going to struggle so much holding back this Ferrari. He's got the Tifosi with him, and I suspect Ferrari have turned that engine up a slight bit more because they are in Italy. And the Mercedes engine in the back of the McLaren is not so fast. So even through all the corners as well, Leclerc is practically pushing Lando Norris through all of these corners here. So I suspect an overtake is coming up very soon, and Leclerc is going to do his absolute best to try and overtake Sergio Perez and Max Verstappen and get this race win back. So coming through into Variante into Ravazza 1 and Ravazza 2. This is a downhill braking zone. Alonso's looks like he's had a bit of a off-track excursion, and he's lost 3 positions. He's lost a position to Stroll and Tsunoda. He's down into 11th now. Alonso not having a very good weekend whatsoever. He re-overtakes Stroll, but and then Stroll re-overtakes him. A bit of a mistake there from Fernando Alonso. Going into lap number 6 now, Max Verstappen sets the fastest lap of the race, a 1 minute 31.5. Very quick indeed from Max Verstappen in these wet conditions. Hamilton makes the overtake on Fernando Alonso as well. Great job from Hamilton, considering that Mercedes car is really struggling. Same can be said for George Russell. He's not putting any pressure on Kevin Magnussen. In fact, Valtteri Bottas is putting pressure on George Russell. Did not expect to be saying that when I was told that Russell's going to be driving for Mercedes and Bottas is driving for Alfa Romeo. But here we are. Bottas is going to be fighting Russell. And in fact, this was the battle that happened last year, where both drivers were basically side by side going to turn number 1, and both of them were out because of a tiny little flick of the wheel, really. So we'll see if both drivers have learned from their mistake and not crash into each other. But Verstappen, once again, a fastest first sector, fastest second sector. And I think what he's doing is just building that gap as much as he can, because he knows that Leclerc is fast in this rain. So we'll just have to wait and see. Hello, Kiers. Nice to see you back in the chat. Love to see it. We got 14,000 people watching nearly. That is absolutely insane. Everyone that's tuning in, thank you so much for all of the support. Do appreciate all of it. And if you guys can smash that like button as hard as Nicholas Latifi is probably going to crash into a wall, then it would be really appreciated. But what happened to Daniel Ricciardo? He got crashed into by Carlos Sainz at the start of the race. He got hit from behind, and then also because he got hit from behind, he hit Carlos Sainz, and that's why he spun and was out this race. Fernando Alonso looks like he's pitted. I think he might have an issue, or he might have some front wing damage, but he is unfortunately in the pits right now. We'll see if he decides, if he does come out. Verstappen has set another fastest lap of the race, and it was pretty much the same lap time as before, so it seems to be the track conditions aren't improving that much. So there we go. We've got some team radio though from Sebastian Vettel. Let's listen to this. So what was I going to say? Fernando Alonso, it looks like he's got a lot of damage to his side pod, and he is currently, it looks like half of his side pod is gone, and it seems to be like his side pod exploded like it did in testing for Esteban Ocon, so he looks like he's out of this race. So it's a second race retirement for Fernando Alonso. So our 2 Spaniards in Formula 1 have both retired from this race with less than 10, and we're less than 10 laps in. All right, we've got team radio from Sebastian Vettel. Let's listen to this.
So just try to look after the front right when we restart, so it's still there when we get the extra rain.
So Aston Martin are predicting extra rain, and the track seems to be drying out, but Aston Martin are predicting extra rain. So we'll wait and see how the track conditions go. But Leclerc fell off the back of Lando Norris for a bit. He's back, and now he's side by side going down the straight. Leclerc pulls to the right, going into turn number 1. He swoops around the outside, and Lando Norris does not fight it too hard because he knows Leclerc's got the faster car. There's no point losing time now fighting against him. So Leclerc up into third, and his next target is Sergio Perez. There's a good recovery for Charles Leclerc, but it's going to take a while for him to catch up because the gap is 3 seconds, and even though that Ferrari car is quick, the track is drying, and he has to maintain those tire conditions because we never know if the rain's going to start falling down any harder or any lighter. Everyone that has subscribed though, really do appreciate it, and if you haven't hit the subscribe button already, I stream every single race and qualifying. So it would be very much appreciated if you do hit the subscribe button with the notification bell. All right, back to the race though. We have got quite a bit of action brewing between Esteban Ocon and Pierre Gasly. Both drivers, don't particularly like each other as far as I can tell on social media or something. They have some sort of beef. I'm not exactly sure, but Esteban Ocon and Pierre Gasly on track now, looking to have a little bit of a scrap between the two drivers. We'll wait and see how that goes for them. Yeah, they're not too close just yet, and unfortunately DRS is not a thing because of the fact that we're currently in wet conditions. In fact, talking of Pierre Gasly trying to overtake Esteban Ocon, Alex Albon is all over Pierre Gasly, so this is absolutely insane. So Alex Albon, who had a brake failure in qualifying, has moved up from 20th in the sprint race all the way up into 14th now. He's onto the back of Pierre Gasly. We'll see if he can make an overtake going down the start-finish straight. He's got a very big slipstream, and going down the straight, here he goes, side by side. He decides to back out and play it safe this time. He does not want to risk getting taken out this race, especially because it's raining and so many things can happen, and we're not even 10 laps into the race. Is Bottas going to catch up to George Russell? I don't think he is. Bottas is 2.6 seconds behind George Russell, and George Russell, in fact, slightly caught up to Magnussen and is starting to apply a bit of pressure. It's not too much because the gap is still hovering around 1.2 seconds, but that's closer than most of the gaps on the racetrack right now. Hamilton as well, putting pressure on Lance Stroll. Lance Stroll started the race in 15th, all the way up into 10th. Both Aston Martins, in fact, gaining loads of positions in the wet. So both drivers very adaptable, and it really shows here. They've got quite a bit of experience under their belts, and Vettel moved from, I think it was 13th all the way up into 8th, and Stroll moved from 15th all the way up into 10th. We have some team radio from Charles Leclerc. He set fastest first sector, so he looks to be very much on his way of chasing down Sergio Perez, and he's doing exactly that. The gap is down from 3 to 2 seconds. Let's see what Charles Leclerc has to say on the radio.
And track condition update when you can.
Yeah, I'll let you know when it's all dry.
I have no idea what Charles Leclerc just said, but I think what he said was the track is sort of drying. I'm not exactly sure, but we can get a weather update in probably 2 or 3 laps, because we're still under race conditions, so we don't want to miss anything. But the track is sort of drying out. We're going to see who's gonna gamble to go onto the slicks and who's going to stay on the intermediate tires. Also, we've reached the point of the race where the intermediate tires are starting to overheat because the track isn't wet enough. The racing line is drying, and because the racing line is dry, the intermediate tires are starting to overheat. So the drivers are purposely going into the wet patch of the track to cool their tires down. So we are reaching that point where drivers are going to start switching over to the slicks. It's just what point is the correct point to start and switch over. We'll just have to wait and see. There is once again Lewis Hamilton is still right on the back of Lance Stroll, and in fact they're getting in quite a tussle here going down into Ravazza 1, but in Variante Alto, sorry. But going into Ravazza 1 now, Hamilton and Stroll, and both drivers not looking to make any sort of mistake here, because if you make any sort of lockup going on this downhill braking zone, you are going straight into the gravel trap. So all the drivers being very, very careful here. There were, I think, 5 or 6 drivers that made the same mistake in FP1. So, it's not looking great. George Russell, in fact, right on the back of Kevin Magnussen going into turn 1. He decides to back out, though. Decides to play it safe because it's a bit risky trying to make an overtake in the rain, especially on Kevin Magnussen, who knows to be not the cleanest driver. Nevertheless, though, he was very, very close to overtaking Kevin Magnussen. Even the fact that the Mercedes engine is actually slower than the Ferrari engine. So George Russell doing a good job there, catching up to Kevin Magnussen. But I think Magnussen will do his best to try and defend here. All right. Oh, side by side going into I forgot what the corner name is. I think it's turn number 8. Russell once again backs out. This corner was quite unlucky. You don't want to try and make an overtake there because it's one of those high-speed corners, and a tiny little touch can send you into a massive spin. So Russell plays it safe once again, but he is practically pushing Magnussen through all of these corners now. Magnussen's really starting to struggle, and it looks like he might get some overtakes. All right, so No DRS just yet, though. We're still under dry enough, wet enough conditions to still have no DRS. Coming through into Ravazza 1, Kevin Magnussen and George Russell. Neither driver make any sort of mistake here, but the most important thing is to get a nice exit coming out the final corner, and both drivers do. It looks like George Russell got a slightly better one. He's currently in the slipstream of Kevin Magnussen, and he is gaining going down the straight. Let's see what he can do. All right. Yes, he does. He makes the overtake happen on Kevin Magnussen. He kind of breezes past him going down the straight. But in fact, Kevin Magnussen sends one down the inside again and gets past George Russell. So, wow, Kevin Magnussen doing some very, very brave defending there against George Russell. And I think he believes that the Haas car is faster than the Mercedes, so it's worth his time to defend that position. And he does exactly that. And saying that, Kevin Magnussen and George Russell having a battle, and here comes Valtteri Bottas behind both of them, who might... And so now it's a three-way scrap for fifth position. It is very, very crazy indeed. All right, we are coming up to the time where we might be switching over to the dry tyres. The track is getting drier and drier, and there is definitely a dry line forming on the racetrack. We'll have to wait and see which driver decides to switch over first. Russell versus Kevin Magnussen. Once again, Russell gets past this time, going through into Piratelli, and there we go. So Russell's made that move in an unusual corner, but he's decided to make it stick, and there was no other opportunity for Kevin Magnussen to get back at him. But Kevin Magnussen now going down the straight, he has Valtteri Bottas behind him, George Russell ahead of him. It's double trouble for Kevin Magnussen. We'll wait and see what he can do. Coming into the second to last corner now, he brakes, does not lock up whatsoever, so very, very well executed braking zone there, and he's right on the tail of George Russell. He's 9/10 behind, which is a bit too far for the slipstream. Williams pit wall has just said to Nicholas Latifi, we are expecting rain in the next 10 laps. All right, so it could be the drivers stay on the intermediate tyres for a tiny bit more longer. We'll just have to wait and see. It is still raining. I'm just going to give you a quick weather update because we don't want to miss any of the action on track, but I don't think we're going to get any overtakes in the next 10 seconds. So quick weather update. It is still raining, and we're getting slightly more heavier rain coming to Castel Bolognese, which is where the race is situated. Well, right next to Imola. So there we go. But back to the race, we've got... Don't think we've had any overtakes when we went to check the weather, but George Russell and Kevin Magnussen having a great scrap indeed, and you love to see that. Magnussen, though, is falling back. It looks like his pace, he was really hanging on to those tyres, and that Mercedes car is really just flew past him now. So Valtteri Bottas is actually all over the back of Kevin Magnussen here, going down into Ravazza 1, sorry. Bottas decides not to go for a move here because he's got the straight coming up. He knows he can just slipstream past him. It'll be so much safer. And he decides to do exactly that. Coming out the final corner, that's exactly what he does. He overtakes Kevin Magnussen. A very nice job there from Valtteri Bottas, and he's up into 6th position, and Magnussen has lost 2 positions in the space of 2 laps. We've got team radio from Max Verstappen. Let's listen to what he has to say. He's got a 6-second lead right at the front of the race, and Charles Leclerc has really not closed the gap up much to Sergio Perez since we last spoke about him.
Yeah, just continue to look after those front right tyres. Turn 5, turn 9. Checo's struggling a bit.
All right, so front right tyres is the most is the tyre that gets the most wear and tear here because the high speed corners are 2 left-handers. So the front right tyre is the tyre that gets the most wear because it's the opposite of whichever way you're turning. So there we go. All right, we've got 1,600 people watching. Guys, if you haven't hit the like button, please be sure to do so. It really does help out the channel. And if you haven't subscribed already, it really does help out. We're trying to hit 35k. I'm not sure exactly how many subscribers we're on right now. We are on 33.5. So if we can hopefully hit 35k, if you guys haven't subscribed, please be sure to do so. It really does help out the channel. But I will get back to the race commentary. We've got Lance Stroll on the back of Yuki Tsunoda. So Stroll is up into 10th. That's great. That's a good job from him. And Yuki Tsunoda, in fact, started the sprint race in 16th, put himself up into 12th position, and now from 12th at the start of this race, he's up into 9th. So Yuki Tsunoda done a great job improving from his horrible qualifying, and he's up into ninth place and he's into the points. Mick Schumacher, unfortunately, is down into 17th place. He tangled a bit with Daniel Ricciardo at the start of this race, so it doesn't look like we could get double points for Haas, but we never know. The rain might come a bit more harder. Pirelli have also said that there's more rain expected soon, so the drivers are probably going to hang on to the intermediate tyres for as long as possible and potentially turn the intermediates into interslicks like they did back in Turkey in 2020. Is it 16k? I dare say 1600 instead of 16,000. Well, my bad. Well, 16,000, even more amazing. We've just hit 2,000 likes as well. If you get 2.5k, that would be lovely. All right. Stroll has just come over the radio and has said it's a long way from slicks, but the racing line does look pretty dry, so it's very, very interesting, and everyone's trying to get as much tyre temperature off the tyres as possible. They're starting to overheat, really. Track temperature right now is 16 degrees, but those intermediate tyres, if they don't have any rain going over them, it's going to be overheating them a lot. We've got some team radio here from Stroll. Let's listen to what he has to say. All right.
Cool the tyres on the straight. Need to do more job cooling the tyres on the straight.
Yeah, so cool the tyres on the straight. That basically just means drive through a puddle. So because the water in the puddle is like pretty cold compared to your tyres, so just drive through the puddles. That's basically what he's been told to do. What's wrong with Lewis? The problem with Lewis is that the Mercedes car really hasn't got that much top speed. Neither is the Aston Martin, to be honest. But Stroll has got the slipstream of Tsunoda, which is kind of helping him hold off Lewis Hamilton, because Stroll's get a tiny bit of extra boost in his top speed, so does Hamilton, so it kind of balances out, and that's why Hamilton has been stuck behind Lance Stroll for a couple of laps, for 10, 15 laps now. Is Leclerc gaining? Yes, he's gained a tiny fraction of amount. Like he's gained 0.2 of a second over, I think, 4 laps or something. So he's gaining, but really not that quickly. He could catch up to Sergio Perez, but there is no DRS anyway. So even if he gets within the 1 second zone, it's not going to do too much. He's got to have some proper pace to actually catch up and do a full overtake. Does that mean Merc is slower than the Haas? I think it's safe to say the Mercedes is slower than the Haas. Because Kevin Magnussen is pretty quick. I just think the Haas has worse tyre wear compared to the Mercedes, so that's why George Russell is quicker than, it's in a higher position than Kevin Magnussen. But yeah, the Haas, I think in terms of raw qualifying pace, K-Mag is very, very quick indeed. We got Lando Norris, we got some team radio from him. He's in 4th place, and he just looks to be in a little bit of his own, really. The top 3 drivers have pulled away. George Russell and Valtteri Bottas are kind of behind him by about 5 seconds, sorry. And then Lando Norris is just in a race of his own. We've got some team radio, though. Let's listen to what he has to say.
Lando, can I have an update, please?
Yeah, still the same. Tyres are more of a slick now. There's just too many wet patches, especially in the middle sector. 14, 15.
Okay, so that's interesting. So Lando Norris is saying in the middle sector, which is you guys know which bit the middle sector is, where Verstappen is starting now to the end of where Ricciardo is on the track. That's the middle sector. And there are too many wet patches on the track. The thing is, what happens is, if you don't have grooves in your tyres, which the intermediate tyres do and slick tyres don't, if you don't have grooves and you drive over a puddle, what happens is your tyres don't actually touch the road. They touch the top of the water on the puddle, and the top of the water on the puddle has 0 grip, and the road has loads of grip. So if one of your tyres goes over the puddle and your other tyre doesn't, you have so much grip on one tyre and 0 grip on the other, which causes you to spin out. So that's why Lando Norris isn't switching over to the intermediate tyres, because there's too many puddles, and even if you dip like a tiny bit of your wheel into a puddle, you can easily spin. Just ask Valtteri Bottas in 2019 in Germany. There was a pretty solid dry racing line, but Valtteri Bottas put half of his front left wheel onto a damp patch, and he spun straight round. So it's very, very tricky indeed to stay within that dry racing line, especially when there's puddles everywhere. Daniel Ricciardo's coming to the pits. He's pit onto the medium tyres, and I think what McLaren are doing is they're just going to risk it because they have nothing to lose. Daniel Ricciardo's in last position of the race. He might as well just go full send and go onto the medium tyres, and if it works out for him, it works out for him. But every single team is going to have his eyes peeled on Daniel Ricciardo and looking at the sector times that he is setting. All right, I have this new feature that I can do. If I click on Daniel Ricciardo's name on my thing, it selects Daniel Ricciardo and it tells us which sectors he's doing. And look at this, Daniel Ricciardo, purple through there, green through there. His lap times are so fast. Look at this, another green sector. So that means he's quicker on the mediums than he is on the intermediate tires. Going through the middle sector where there are all the puddles, Ricciardo once again medium, green sectors, and then yellow where the puddles are. And once again, I think he's green through there. So guys, do you like this new feature? Is this good? Should I use it more often? Just let me know in the chat. But as we can see, Daniel Ricciardo's pace is good on these medium tyres, so we could potentially see some more drivers switch onto it. Right, there we go. So I'm just going to switch that off. But let me know if you guys do like that feature. Actually, I'll just type it in the chat. I'll make a poll. Is the feature good? And then you guys can vote in it. All right, so it's an awesome feature. Most of you guys are saying it's good. All right, cool. Well, we'll follow Daniel Ricciardo, look at his lap times a bit more then. But it's looking to be green sectors for Daniel Ricciardo all around. And in fact, looking at that, everyone else has pitted. Vettel, Gasly, Albon, all three drivers have pitted onto the intermediates. Just looking at those sector times for Daniel Ricciardo. So there we go. Daniel Ricciardo has basically told three of the teams to go into the pit lane. So there we go. Daniel Ricciardo is setting green sectors once again, and so is the rest of the grid. Right, I'll turn that off because it's not exactly necessary all the time. But yeah, there we go. So if you guys haven't hit the like button or subscribe, please be sure to do so. I found out about this feature about like 10 minutes before the start of the stream, but nevertheless, pretty cool. Sergio Perez has also come into the pit lane. He'll be switching on to the medium tires as well. So Sergio Perez is into the pits. He's onto the mediums. We'll see what Leclerc and Verstappen do. In fact, what we'll do is we'll keep track of Sergio Perez's lap times because he's going to be pretty important to see if the top teams are also quick. But look at this, Daniel Ricciardo purple in the middle sector. So that's great to see. All right, 93% of you saying the feature's great. All right, well, I think it's pretty safe to say I will use that in the future. So thank you so much for the feedback, guys. I'm always looking to make the stream a better viewing experience for you, since you guys are the people that are watching. Everyone else is coming to the pits, though. We've got Magnussen, Tsunoda, Stroll, Russell, Bottas, all coming into the pits, but both leaders, Leclerc and Verstappen, not coming in just yet. I don't know what they're expecting. I'm going to give you guys a weather update and see what the weather's saying. So it's still 1 millimeter of rain, but looking here, it gets 0.6 millimeters, 0.7 millimeters. So the rain is getting lighter and lighter. So I think what they're doing is they're just going to assume the fact that the tires are just going to get rid of most of the rain anyway. But everyone is coming into the pits. There's a slow stop for Valtteri Bottas because he his front left tire was a bit sticky. Sorry. Oh, here we go. Leclerc and Verstappen both into the pits. Which team is going to come out ahead? We know Red Bull are rockets in the pit lane. Are they going to be able to maintain, or are they going to make a bit of a mistake? Here we go. Verstappen comes out the pit lane. He is still ahead of Charles Leclerc. So a good job there from the Red Bull crew. But now this is just a straight fight. Leclerc versus Verstappen versus Sergio Perez. And in fact, Leclerc has jumped Sergio Perez going through the pit lane. Oh, in fact, here we go. Leclerc versus Perez going through turn number 1 and 2. The gap is 0.2 of a second. Perez has the warmer tyres. Leclerc's just come out of the pit lane. Here we go. Going into turn number 4, the Villeneuve chicane. Perez has got ahead of Charles Leclerc. Solid overtake there. But and now Leclerc is so close. Can he fight back, or his tyres just do not have enough temperature? We've got 18,000 people watching. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Absolutely insane. We're a third of the way through this race. If you guys haven't smashed the like button, please be sure to do so. And yeah, really do appreciate all of the support, guys. All right, back to the race, though. Look at this. Daniel Ricciardo is setting fastest laps of the race. This is something really important here. The more tire temperature you get, the faster your laps are going to be. So Daniel Ricciardo has set a lap time that is 7 seconds faster than Max Verstappen's previous lap time, I think. And that's purely because of the fact that Daniel Ricciardo has warmed up his tyres and everyone else is still on cold tyres. So there we go. We've got Sebastian Vettel, who's up into P7. That's great to see. He might be scoring the first points for Aston Martin. Everyone has pitted and everyone is out on the medium tyres. Pirelli said the medium tyres can do up to 25 laps of this race. They said maximum 30, but we have 43 laps of this race left, 42 laps left of this race to go. So it might be a bit of a stretch and we could see some drivers pitting onto soft tyres towards the end of this race. We'll just have to wait and see. All right. So here we go. Leclerc now, he's building up his tyre temperature. As you can see, he's got a lot of temperature. Well, he's set a fastest third sector, but saying that Verstappen has also set a fastest first sector. So loads of purple sectors all around the track. So there we go. Bottas has now just set the fastest lap of the race. So the Alfa Romeos look to be building up a lot of tyre temperature. Unfortunately, Guan Yu Zhou, who started the race in the pit lane, is still in 18th position. So not great for him. But he is on the back of Mick Schumacher, who could potentially make an overtake there. Hamilton now sets the fastest lap of the race. Very, very interesting. It's just whoever has the most tyre temperature is setting the fastest lap of the race. It's not even about which car you've got. It's just the most tyre temperature. There is going to be an incident between Esteban Ocon and Lewis Hamilton getting investigated in the pit lane because one of them blocked the other driver, so that might be investigated. Esteban Ocon or Hamilton may get a penalty, but I think it's just going to be a fine. It'll probably be the team's fault, so it'll be a fine there. Perez, though, he's set in purple sectors, but Leclerc is right on his tail. So Leclerc's doing a great job, of pressuring Perez. The gap between Perez and Verstappen is 7 seconds, so even if Leclerc does make the overtake on Sergio Perez, he's got quite a big gap to catch up to Max Verstappen, and I have a feeling that DRS will be getting enabled very, very soon indeed. The rain has stopped, so I'm going to get rid of my message up here, but yeah, it looks to be that we're going to get a close battle between Leclerc and Perez, and we'll see how that goes for them, but yeah, DRS will be enabled soon as well. So everyone that has subscribed, by the way, thank you so much. Really do appreciate it. Leclerc is very much gaining on Sergio Perez, and it looks to be probably in a couple of laps, and maybe when DRS is enabled, he'll be able to make an overtake stick. We're so close to hitting 34k subs, guys. If you guys haven't subscribed, please be sure to do so. And I know, according to YouTube, 90% of you guys aren't subscribed, so it would really help out the channel. So there we go. All right, so there we go. Let's just give a quick update of after the pit stop situation, because loads of drivers gained some positions, loads of drivers lost some positions. But here we go. So we got Vettel, who was originally in 8th. He went up into 7th. Bottas, who was originally in 7th, went up 1 position as well. Kevin Magnussen lost out once again. He started the race up in 5th position. He's down into 8th. Sonoda has gained 1 position as well. He's doing a good job. He started the race in 12th. He's now up into 9th. Esteban Ocon, who started the race all the way down in, I think, in 18th, 19th place, is up into 11th. So a solid recovery drive for him. I mean, if Esteban Ocon could have done that, then if Fernando Alonso didn't have that damage, who knows what he could have done. It's just so unfortunate. He's got 2 DNFs in the past 2 races, I think, or in the past season at least. Unfortunately for Esteban Ocon, I was just praising him, and the FIA stewards have given him a 5-second time penalty for an unsafe release. He got released into the path of Lewis Hamilton, which has given him a 5-second time penalty. That's really, really unfortunate. I don't know if that's actually fair, because surely it's the team's fault who tell Esteban Ocon to start driving out the pits. But it is what it is, and Esteban Ocon has a 5-second time penalty to his name. We'll see how that affects him at the end of this race. All right. At the front, though, DRS has not been enabled just yet. Max Verstappen, another fastest lap of the race, but Sergio Perez, 2 purple sectors. He's going slightly quicker than Verstappen in both of them. And we'll wait and see if he can actually hold up Charles Leclerc for the rest of this race. It's going to be 41 laps. We know Sergio Perez can actually manage his tyres for that long. We could potentially see Verstappen and Leclerc go in for a pit stop again, and Sergio Perez win this race because he's just so good at managing his tyres. And maybe Alex Albon as well, because in Australia he did 52 laps on those hard tyres, or 51 or something. So he could go to the end of this race on those mediums. It's just a tyre management strategy, really. Perez is slow in the last sector. Yes, indeed, he is slow in the last sector. And I think what he's doing is just playing it a bit safe, because going through the last sector, if you make a tiny little mistake, you go straight into the gravel trap on the final 2 corners. So I think Perez is just playing it safe here, does not want to screw up. He's in a good position. He might as well secure first or second place. Red Bull really need those points. They've been suffering from mechanical issues in Bahrain and then in Australia as well. So they really need to secure some constructors points and drivers points. So he's just going to play it safe and not push too hard. Saying that, though, he's still got the fastest lap of the race, and I don't think Verstappen will be pushing that hard. So Verstappen, he's got a 7.5 second lead over Perez. So it looks like he's gone into tyre management mode because there's no need for him to push really now, and he's just going to try and keep his tyres in check and make sure there's not too much tyre wear. Charles Leclerc has dropped out of DRS range. I don't think it's been enabled yet, but he's out of the 1 second range for Sergio Perez. And Perez, once again, another fastest first and second sector, and it looks like he'll be setting another fastest lap sometime soon. There we go. Verstappen's now got the fastest lap, which it's just we're going to be switching between fastest laps so much. 18,000 people watching, everyone that's tuned in. If you guys could hit the like button, that would really help out the channel. So thank you so much all for tuning in, though. It really does help out. And you'll love to see it, really. So many people watching. I do appreciate all of you guys. It's just a pleasure commentating to you. The chat is so lovely. So there we go. The rain risk is receding according to Aston Martin. So the chance of rain actually affecting the race is going down for Aston Martin. We're just going to give a quick weather update and then we'll be getting back to the race. Yeah, looking here, I'm just going to refresh it. Hopefully it will... Let's see. Yeah, look, this is the racetrack now, and look at that. No rain whatsoever. This rain might be forecast. It might hit, but I think it might hit towards the end of this race or just hit after the race. So there we go. There is no more rain predicted at that racetrack. So there we go. Charles Leclerc is in third place and not gaining whatsoever on Sergio Perez, so not great for him. He really does need to make an overtake, but don't know what he can do because the Ferrari is really struggling in terms of its tyre wear. That's what happened to him yesterday. He did 18 laps, 19 laps in front of Max Verstappen, but his tyres just wore out so much. Verstappen was able to make an overtake right at the end of the race. So we'll wait and see if he can overcome those tyre issues and those tyre wear issues. And it looks like he can. He's set a fastest third sector. He is catching up, but it's going to be pretty difficult. All right. So what else is there? There are problems for George Russell. So guys, if you didn't know, what happens when you go into a pit stop, your team can adjust the angle of the front wing depending on if you have too much understeer or oversteer. And so when he went into the pits, the team weren't able to adjust the wing flap to adjust the downforce levels on his car. So George Russell came out of the pits with a rather slow pit stop and no change in front wing. So it looks like he might be driving slightly hampered because he does not have the correct setup on his car, because basically when you change from wet conditions to dry conditions, you're probably going to have a lot more understeer when you switch from the wet to the dry setup. So you can knock off a bit of the front wing. Now you can reduce the flap angle, and that reduces the downforce, but unfortunately the Mercedes crew could not change that. There was some sort of issue, and George Russell's going to be hampered for the rest of this race. We'll see how he deals with it, though. He knows how to drive a pretty terrible car which isn't set up properly. He drove in a Williams for about 3 years, but we'll have to wait and see. There's also a train forming behind Yuki Tsunoda. There is Tsunoda, then Stroll, then Ocon, and then Albon, and then Gasly, and then Hamilton, and then Ricciardo. So DRS train, choo-choo. But yeah, DRS, once it is enabled, I suspect there's going to be a pretty mega battle between all of those drivers for 9th and 10th place. All right. Why is Mick so slow? Mick, unfortunately, he spun on the chicane. He spun at this chicane where Kevin Magnussen is right now, and Yuki Tsunoda's coming up to. He spun at that chicane, and that is why he is so far down and he got lapped. So very, very unfortunate for Mick Schumacher, and that's now he's down into P18. He spun, he kept it on the track, he kept it on the grass, and then got out onto the track again, but yeah, lost a load of positions and a load of time. So very unfortunate there for Mick Schumacher. All right, so we have now got Max Verstappen and who's set a fastest second sector. Perez once again on the fastest first sector, and fastest lap of the race. It's really, there isn't that much to talk about. The drivers are just trading fastest laps and fastest sessions, to be completely honest with you guys. So yeah, very, very strange, but nevertheless, there's not that, saying there's not that much action. We've got Albon right about to overtake Pierre Gasly. Sorry. I overtake Esteban Ocon, sorry, my mistake. But yeah, there's quite a bit of action going down in the midfield. At the top, though, the gap between Leclerc and Perez is getting smaller and smaller, and the gap between Verstappen and Perez is also getting smaller and smaller. We'll just have to wait and see how that goes. We've got some team radio from Sebastian Vettel, who's in 7th place, and I'm really happy about that because I'm a Seb Vettel fan. So let's listen to his radio.
Sebastian, we're going to try and get this tyre to the end, so it is about looking after the front right. I think you're doing a good job. It's costing a bit of time entry to 2, but I think that's good for the front right serving.
All right, so that's what they're doing. Aston Martin have decided to go 42 laps on medium tires. It's going to be a pretty tough strategy, but I remember Sebastian Vettel back in 2018 in Bahrain. What he did, he drove on the super soft tires, which was basically the medium compound of that race, and he did it for 40 laps, which was absolutely ridiculous, by the way, because the Pirelli did not say they could go that long, but Sebastian Vettel somehow did it, and well, yeah, very great job there indeed from Sebastian Vettel, and I think he can do it again. So the drivers that are good at tire management are really going to succeed in this race here, because the front right tire takes a very big beating going around this track, because there is so much there are so many, like, all of the high speed corners are left-handers, and because when you turn left, your body and the whole car wants to go right. There's all of the load, all of like the weight of the tire of the car goes onto the right hand side tire. So yeah, very, very unfortunate indeed. There was a battle between Lance Stroll and Yuki Tsunoda, and they're getting very, very feisty indeed. In fact, Stroll went all over the grass. Well, he went right on the edge of the track and sprayed up a bunch of spray. Oh, sorry about that. I kind of just hit my chair, but I'm slightly surprised by the fact Sergio Perez has just made a mistake, and Leclerc is right on his tail. So Leclerc has been applying constant pressure to Sergio Perez. We'll have DRS enabled in a couple of laps, well, probably in a couple of laps. I don't know. The FIA just have some weird rules. But Leclerc is right on the back of Sergio Perez and looks to be getting closer and closer. Yeah, Perez had a moment. He misjudged his braking point, and Leclerc has closed up. So the battle is not over just yet. We've still got half of this race left to go. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. If you guys haven't hit the subscribe button or liked, really would be appreciated. And also, if you can... So yeah, smash the like button as hard as, let's see, Nicholas Latifi is going to crash into the wall, because I have a feeling, no, Nicholas Latifi is probably not going to crash, but yeah, I can't come up with anything to say, so just smash the like button, because I hope you're enjoying the commentary. So yeah, the battle between Yuki Tsunoda, that DRS train that has been forming, Yuki Tsunoda kind of picked up the pace. He dropped the DRS train. Now the train is behind Lance Stroll, and then Esteban Ocon, Alex Albon, Pierre Gasly, Lewis Hamilton, and Daniel Ricciardo. And Hamilton's right on the back of Pierre Gasly. In fact, Gasly is slightly struggling here. In fact, it's at AlphaTauri's home race. This is the closest track there is to the AlphaTauri factory, and AlphaTauri isn't doing so great. Well, Pierre Gasly isn't doing so great. Tsunoda's had a good recovery, but Pierre Gasly not doing as good as he usually does. And Hamilton is right on the back of him now, going through into Variante Alta. You can just see there's a bunch of drivers here, and every single lap you spend in dirty air is another lap that your drivers get overheating tires. Will Hamilton be lapped? I don't think so. The laps are 180 seconds. Well, it's 80 seconds, and Hamilton is 60 seconds behind Verstappen. So another 20 seconds that Verstappen has to gain. So yeah, don't think that's going to be happening anytime soon. All right. So let's see, we are now approaching the halfway point of this race. Guys, let me know who your driver of the day is, at least so far, in the chat. And yeah, we'll wait and see. There are 33 more laps left. Max Verstappen's number, but, well, it was his number before. It isn't anymore. He's switched to number 1 now, since he is the defending world championship. But there we go. The number of laps is written above the green flag on the screen, if you guys didn't see it, but there we go. Mick Schumacher has got a black and white flag for track limits. He has been extending track limits, really, but I don't think it matters too much. He's still in 18th place of this race. He just went a bit too wide. And it was Sergio Perez. Yeah, so when he misjudged his braking zone, he bounced all over the grass, and that's not going to help his tyres one bit, really. But the fact that he bounced over the braking zone, well, missed his braking point, and still managed to get past, and, well, still managed to maintain the lead over Charles Leclerc is still a very, very good job. The Minister of Defence, Sergio Perez, is holding back Charles Leclerc. All right, we've got some more radio from Sebastian Vettel, so let's see what he has to say.
Standby, we'll check. So last lap, Magnussen was 0.4 quicker.
So Vettel asked what are Magnussen's tyres looking like on the onboard, and They didn't get back to him because they haven't got the onboard of Kevin Magnussen immediately up in front of him. But in terms of the lap time, is 0.4 quicker was Kevin Magnussen in the previous lap. So we'll wait and see if he can catch up to Sebastian Vettel. DCS Beamer, thank you for the donation. Really do appreciate it. Thank you so much. Drive of the day for me so far is Verstappen. If things keep going his way, he's going to breeze this race. Yeah, I mean, Verstappen, he DNF'd in Bahrain, got first place in Saudi Arabia, DNF'd in Australia, and it's the 4th race of the season, and it looks like he's getting P1. So I'm not going to curse it, but Max Verstappen is driving very, very well indeed, and he's 10 seconds ahead of his teammate. DRS, I don't know if it's been enabled or not. I can't tell. There's been no information from the FIA if it's been enabled, but let me just check. It doesn't seem to be enabled, really. They should enable it sometime soon, but it's very odd, to be completely honest with you guys. All right. Also, I have another question for you guys. See, on my stream, we have the map, of course, and then we have the data. Do you prefer the map to be bigger, or do you prefer the data to be bigger? I'm just going to ask this in a poll, so don't type it in the chat just yet. Do you... All right, so I'm just typing that up. But as I say that, Daniel Ricciardo has just lost 3 positions. He's come into the pit lane. He's gone onto the hard tyres. Daniel Ricciardo, as you guys remember, was the first driver to pit onto the medium tyres. So if he can only do, I think it was 15, 16, he's done 18 or 20 laps on those medium tyres, which is what Pirelli expected, by the way. Pirelli expected... the medium tyres to go around about 20 laps, and Daniel Ricciardo's come off those medium tyres and he's gone onto the hards. So we'll wait and see if any of the drivers can manage it. All right, guys, I'm just asking in a poll. You guys can vote in the poll. You can either keep it as it is, or if you vote for map should be bigger, then I can make the map bigger for next stream. And if you vote the data should be bigger, then I can make the data bigger for next stream. But just let me know in the comments. Good as it is. Most of you guys are voting for that, so that's good. All right, will the mediums get to the end? That's the real question here. We've seen Verstappen, Perez, Leclerc being setting fastest sectors all the time. But the thing is, are these drivers going to be able to get to the end of the race or not? Because Daniel Ricciardo, he's pretty good on tyres. He's not like a bad driver or anything. So he's only could do, I think it was 18 or 19 laps on those medium tyres before they really started to wear out. And he's decided to pit onto the hards. So it might be an alternate strategy, or it might be his medium tyres were just wearing out too much. So we'll just have to wait and see. All right. So let's see. Most of you guys, 35% think the map should be bigger. It's good as it is, and the data should be bigger. I typed it soon as it is. That's my mistake. I was trying to commentate and type at the same time. Right. Well, I might try and make the map slightly bigger next weekend. We'll wait and see. If most of you guys like it as it is though, so it should be all right. All right. Back to the race though. We have got 29 laps remaining of this race, and we have got the drivers that have been lapped are Nicolas Latifi, Guan Yu Zhou, Mick Schumacher, and Daniel Ricciardo. Next up on the lapping list is Lewis Hamilton. In fact, there we see Max Verstappen going through Variante Alta, and then we see Lewis Hamilton just going through the second to last corner. Do you guys... Right. Well, let's see. We'll end that poll, and do you guys think we should have the chat on the screen? Should we have the chat on the screen? Because the thing is, I can ask you guys this information now, and you guys can give me the proper info so I can make it better for you guys next weekend around, because obviously it's a viewing experience. So there we go. There's a poll there. If you guys want to vote on it, then there we go. DRS has been enabled, so the FIA is finally enabled DRS, and we've got some team radio from Lando Norris, who once again has just been putting solid lap in after solid lap, and has gone all the way up into fourth. It stayed in 4th place. Sorry. So there we go. All right. So there we go. We got Lando Norris.
Okay, Lando. Daniel pitted from the back of a train onto a hard tyre. His objective is very different from ours. Ours is stint management.
Okay, so basically, I think what they're saying is the reason Daniel Ricciardo is all the way down there is is that he's doing some sort of alternate strategy. But Lando Norris his main aim is to just manage his tires till the end of this race. All right. So 75% of you think this chat shouldn't be on the screen. So I'll take that into account, and hopefully in tomorrow's race, in next week's race, in Miami's race, sorry, I will remove the chat and I'll make the map slightly bigger, because most of you guys wanted the map to be slightly bigger, and some of you are like, fine as it is. So I'll make the map slightly bigger and then remove the chat, and maybe we can have the chat during the pre-race and during the post-race, but I'll get rid of it during the actual action, because there's no need, because if you guys did want to type in the chat or read the chat, there is on the sidebar of YouTube, so it should be all right. All right, back to the race though. We have now got, what is it? I can't even, 25 laps remaining, and we've got Sergio Perez setting fastest sectors after fastest sectors. He's doing a solid job there. We've got Leclerc, who is on, who's actually fell back quite a bit, and I think this is what we were talking about. Leclerc, around about after 16, 17, 18 laps, his tyre wears start to get really, really bad, because I think the Ferrari suffers from graining a lot. That's what he said in the interview after the race. He gets quite a bit of graining on those tyres, which means they wear out significantly quicker after 15, 20 laps. So Leclerc has fallen off the pace a bit. It might be a good strategy to go onto those soft tyres and potentially try and catch up, because he's got nothing to lose really. If he pits right now, he'll come out either just next to Lando Norris or right behind him. And then he has fresh sets of soft tyres to try and catch up to Max Verstappen. It might be an interesting strategy, but he's really got nothing to lose, because he doesn't have the pace to overtake Sergio Perez on the track. We'll have to wait and see, though. Max is lapping very, very quickly. He's catching up to Lewis Hamilton, in fact. Did anyone expect Lewis Hamilton to be lapped? Like, very, very, to be lapped this season. So there we go. Also, guys, just one more thing about improving the stream. I'm obviously the commentator. I'm doing the commentary. If there is anything you guys want to say about like my commentary, because I know loads of you guys would say it's really good, but if there's anything you would improve about my commentary, please let me know in the chat. I'll read through this and make sure I don't do anything like bad or anything you guys aren't enjoying for the next race in Miami. So let me know in the chat if there's anything I can improve about my commentary. All right, but back to the race. We have got Hamilton versus Pierre Gasly in 13th and 14th place, and he's getting closer and closer. In fact, he's been sat behind Pierre Gasly for a very long time, like he was in Monaco last year. He's just been staring at that AlphaTauri rear wing, but Hamilton has been getting closer and closer, but to no avail, really. And I think the main issue is that the Mercedes power unit isn't that quick going down the straights. Basically, what happened was last year, Mercedes they had the fastest engine, or nearly the fastest engine at least. But the regulations, what they've done, they switched to 10% ethanol fuel, and ethanol fuel is like renewable fuel kind of stuff. So the Mercedes engine doesn't work so well on this renewable kind of fuel, and that's the main thing, really. So there we go. And also, guys, if you have like some feedback for me, but it's not like it won't fit into the chat because it has to be less than 200 characters, then there is a survey in the bottom in the link in the description. So go ahead and click that survey link. And then you can type however much you want if you want to give some proper feedback. I really do appreciate it, though, because the aim is just to get the commentary to be as good as possible. DCS Beamer, thank you for the donation. Maybe throwing a curse word every now and then. Just kidding, your commentary is fine as it is. Well, I really do appreciate it, guys. So yeah, thank you for all of the kind words in the chat. It's really very lovely. We've got some team radio from Max Verstappen. He's 12 seconds in the lead of this race. Let's listen to what he has to say.
If he wants a bit more front in high speed, that's display 5, position 2. So high speed front, display 5, position 2.
So display 5, position 2, that basically, well, I don't know exactly what that does because I'm not a Red Bull engineer, but if that's putting front tyre, he's going to go higher, he's going to go quicker through the high-speed corners. I think that's what that means, is that the Red Bull tyres are totally fine in terms of tyre wear. They're not wearing out too fast in terms of in terms of tire wear, basically. So Red Bull are saying you can push on the front tires and you can go quick through the high-speed corners and your tires will be totally fine. So there's no need to worry. So Red Bull have got this tire wear under control, whereas I don't think Ferrari have. And Leclerc is really struggling there now in third place. He's managing to keep up with Sergio Perez, but the gap is getting slightly bigger and bigger every single lap. He still has the ability to pit and maybe come behind Lando Norris. It'll just be we have to wait and see. Also, guys, if you guys haven't hit the subscribe button, please be sure to do so. We're so close to hitting 35k subs now. We started the stream on 32k subs, and now we're nearly up to 35k. Absolutely insane. Everyone that has subscribed and hit the like button, thank you so much. And everyone in the chat as well, you are an amazing fans to commentate to. So there we go. We got Lewis Hamilton, who's getting closer and closer to Gasly, as I said before, but this time it looks like he can actually make an overtake. Now coming into the second to last corner of the track, Hamilton is on Gasly's tail. DRS has been enabled, by the way, so he definitely has DRS on Pierre Gasly, but the thing is that the Honda power unit is quicker, and Gasly has also got DRS on Alex Albon. So Gasly is slipstreaming Albon, who's slipstreaming who's not got any tow. So there's a three-way battle for 12th position between Albon, Gasly, and Hamilton. We'll wait and see how they can, who comes out on top, really. We've got, right. So let's see. Rain, well, we can do a quick weather update, but I think Aston Martin said that there's no rain forecast. So let's just look at the weather. Yeah, so the weather right now, wait one sec, there we go. Yeah, still no rain whatsoever, just looking at the times, and we might see a tiny bit, but this is still 0.2 millimeters of rain is pretty much nothing. So yeah, we're not likely to get that much rain, really. We've got some team radio from Charles Leclerc. Well, let's see how his tires are managing. He's in third place now, and the gap to Perez has got even bigger. So let's see.
And we think everyone will try to go to the end.
Okay, we think everyone will try to go to the end. All right. So that's what Ferrari are expecting, but Ferrari obviously on Pirelli, and Pirelli. I'm just going to bring up the Pirelli information on one sec on my like little tablet here, which I use to make sure I know everything what's going on in the race. So Pirelli said that the medium tires can do around about the maximum number of laps mediums can do is 29 laps. So if the mediums can do 29 laps, according to around about lap number 30 or so, they really start wearing out quite a bit. So it's going to be pretty tough to get towards the end of this race. There's still 20 laps left, so they're going to do 40 laps on these tyres rather than 30, which is what Pirelli expected. But we know there's definitely drivers that can pull this off. We know Vettel can, we know Perez can, we know Albon can. So it'll be interesting to see which drivers struggle due to tyre wear and which drivers don't. Or it might just be down to the car, in fact, because the Ferrari is really struggling on tyre wear. Hamilton has just been lapped, so is Pierre Gasly. So Max Verstappen now is coming up on a bit of traffic. He's got Albon, Ocon, Stroll and Tsunoda all coming up as traffic, but it should be all right. Does Ricciardo have an engine issue? No. Ricciardo is driving around on the medium tyres, and I think what McLaren are doing are just saying that, well, you're not going to score any points anyway, so you might as well gather some data on the hard tyres for us. So I think that's what they're doing. I'm not particularly sure, really. I don't get why you would pit and then come out in 18th place, but I don't think there's that much chance of Daniel Ricciardo actually gaining and going up some positions. So I think that's why they're just doing some data gathering during the race. So rather odd, but nevertheless, it is what it is, and Ricciardo's just this is another weekend to forget for him, and it wasn't even his fault. He got hit by Mick Schumacher at turn number 1, and because he got hit by Carlos Sainz. So really not great whatsoever. Does Norris have an engine issue? No, he does not. He's just the McLaren is nowhere near as quick as the Ferraris and the Red Bulls, and it's still quite a bit quicker than the Mercedes. So that's why he's just sat there in the middle of the track with no one around him, because there's no one for him to overtake. All right. So by the looks of it, I think if the race finishes as it is, Red Bull are going to make significant inroads on Ferrari in terms of the Constructors' Championship because of the fact that Carlos Sainz has DNF'd, and it could probably be a Red Bull 1-2 if it stays as it is. Well, it will be a 1-2 if it stays as it is. And Charles Leclerc, his championship lead as well, is also going to reduce. So it's not looking good for Ferrari. Well, it's their home race, really. They're in Italy, but it's not looking that good for them, to be completely honest. So we'll wait and see how that goes for them. All right. Let's see what else is there to look at. We have another fastest lap from Max Verstappen. I mean, if you got a point every time you set a fastest lap race, every time you set a fastest lap, then I think Max Verstappen would have already won the championship by now because of the fact he's been setting so many fastest laps. But yeah, there's only the one fastest lap point for winning this. For getting the fastest lap right at the end of this race. And he's doing a solid job of maintaining that lead and potentially going on to score 26 points. So very good job there. All right. So let's get back onto this race. Hamilton still stuck behind Pierre Gasly. I'm surprised how Hamilton's tyres aren't overheating really, because of the fact that he's been behind Pierre Gasly for now like 10 laps, 10, 15 laps. Look at Bottas. Bottas is doing all right. I think I'm more happy about the fact that Seb Vettel's in 7th place and he's scoring points for Aston Martin. Like, let's go. You love to see it, really. Seb Vettel scoring points. But yeah, Valtteri Bottas doing a good job in 6th place. The Alfa Romeo is doing pretty quick. But I don't know if they have any more like upgrade paths. They haven't brought any upgrades as far as I can remember. So we'll just have to wait and see. We've got some team radio from Lando Norris. Let's see what he has to say. He's 24 seconds behind Charles Leclerc and 7 seconds ahead of George Russell. He must be pretty bored.
The priority is to outlast Russell and Bottas still. We think that means going to the end.
Okay, need to look after the...
If you said we need to look after the front, you're doing a good job.
Yeah, so looking after the front, you're doing a good job. So they're still aiming to go to the end of this race. They're doing a 40 lap stint on the mediums. We'll see if that goes and works out for them towards the end of this race. Some drivers may hit a cliff. And in fact, that's like the most critical part of the race, the final 10 laps, obviously, because you're going to get your positions once the race finishes. But those final 5 to 10 laps is where the drivers who haven't managed their tyres so well are going to start hitting cliffs, and they're going to significantly reduce in terms of their performance. Whereas the drivers who manage their tyres well and been in clean air, like Lando Norris, like George Russell, are going to really shine and come through. So we'll just have to wait and see who can actually close the gap in the final stages of this race. We've got 19,000 people watching. If you could hit 20,000 people watching, that'd be lovely. So all you got to do is hit the like button. It tells the YouTube algorithm that you're loving the stream. And if you also subscribe, really does help out. I am going to be streaming in Miami, by the way. So the race in Miami, I will be streaming for that. So there we go. Looking at Charles Leclerc, we're just going to look at Charles Leclerc's sector times, how he is doing on those medium tires. So Charles Leclerc's sector times, as you can see, they're all yellow on the track now. That basically just means Leclerc, his sectors are not great. His tires are not in a good condition, basically. So not looking good there for Charles Leclerc. The whole track is yellow, which basically just means no improvement on his previous lap times, and his tires are wearing out. And in fact, he's just asked his engineers plan B. He's asked about plan B, and he's been told that he needs to stay out. But the thing is, he's now 25 seconds ahead of Lando Norris, which means if he comes into the pit lane, he will still come out ahead of Lando Norris. So he might as well just risk it and go for a set of soft tyres and then get the fastest lap of the race as well. Or because it is their home race, I don't think Ferrari want to screw up in front of their fans. So they're just going to play it safe and secure that podium, and Leclerc can go celebrate, and so can the Tifosi. But I don't think they'll be too happy about the fact that it's a podium and not a race win. So there we go. All right, so We've got some team radio from Yuki Tsunoda, who's in 9th place and closing up onto the back of Kevin Magnussen. The gap between himself and Magnussen was quite a bit bigger a couple of laps ago. It's now down to less than a second, so he will be getting DRS. I suspect that Tsunoda and Magnussen are going to have a nice battle there for 8th position. So let's listen to what he has to say on the team radio.
Losing power.
Copy, it's all okay. It's all okay.
So, Tsunoda said he's losing power, but he is not losing power. I just want to confirm, I want to let you know, guys, what's happened there to Yuki Tsunoda. He's not losing power. Basically, what happened is... the map has frozen there for a sec. I don't know why it's done that. There we go, we're back. Whoops, let me just adjust that. There we go. So what happened to Yuki Tsunoda was basically how it works is the F1 cars, they know when they're on a straight and they know when they're on a corner. Well, they mostly know when they're on a straight and they mostly know when they're on a corner. So what the F1 cars do is when they're on a straight, you deploy all of the battery, and then once you get to a corner, you deploy you don't deploy any of the battery because you're braking and you're going through a corner. So there's no need for any of the electrical power from the ERS system. So what they do, the engineers switch off. They have like a program to switch off the electrical system once you get to a corner, but the program slightly glitched, and basically what happened, Yuki Tsunoda was going down the straight and he lost like 200 horsepower because the ERS system thought he was going into a corner when he was around about 100 meters, 200 meters away from the corner. So there's a slight little glitch there, but all they have to do is press the reset button and that fixes itself. So Yuki Tsunoda's car is fine, and he's still right on the back of Kevin Magnussen. So going through into Variante Alta now, both drivers abusing the curbs like crazy. Their cars bouncing everywhere, managing to stay within track limits. So good job for both the drivers now. Tsunoda's only half a second behind Kevin Magnussen going into Ravazza 1, Ravazza 2, downhill braking zone. Don't want to lock up because there is a gravel trap staring right at you. Then going into the final corner now, he gets a very nice exit. DRS has been enabled. He is gaining on Kevin Magnussen, but the top speed difference doesn't look to be too big. Very, very odd there. Oh, in fact, he's just pressed the overtake button. VTEC has kicked in and he's gone past Kevin Magnussen, but Magnussen very late on the brakes. Can he defend it? No, he cannot. Going through turn number 1, Magnussen lost the position to Yuki Tsunoda, and Tsunoda's up into 8th place. Very, very strange there. He just got so much speed in one go. I think what happened is he enabled DRS and also pressed the overtake button at the same time, which gave him just a massive super mega speed boost, and he just breezed past Kevin Magnussen. So a very nice job there from Yuki Tsunoda. Up into 8th place, Kevin Magnussen will do his best to try and hang on to the back of Yuki Tsunoda, but it looks like that AlphaTauri is just too quick, and Kevin Magnussen's tyres have worn out a bit too much. So we're approaching lap number 30. This is when, lap number 30 of driving on the medium tyres for most teams, most drivers, and everyone, this is what Pirelli said. Pirelli said around about lap number 30, your drivers are going to... the medium tires are going to start to like wear out significantly, like really badly. So we're about to get to the point now where Pirelli predicted the tires are going to fall off. Now we'll just have to wait and see how they go. But looking at this, Sebastian Vettel, 3 green sectors, and then the same can be said for Yuki Tsunoda. Both drivers have set personal best lap times on 30-lap-old medium tyres. So I have a feeling that those 2 drivers have managed their tyres very, very well. But looking up at Max Verstappen, Sergio Perez, Charles Leclerc, all of those drivers are not setting personal bests. In fact, they're quite a bit off their personal bests. So I have a feeling that while Verstappen, Perez and Leclerc were playing who's going to get the fastest lap, who's setting the fastest first sector, who's setting the fastest second sector, they've worn out their tyres. And because of the simple fact that those guys are in the lead of the race, they have the faster cars. And even if you're going like 10 miles an hour faster through a corner, that puts more load on your tyres and wears them out quicker. So I think the top 3 are really going to be struggling sometime soon. In terms of their tyre conditions. But the thing is, they have got such a big advantage. Leclerc is 30 seconds ahead of Lando Norris. So even if Leclerc's tyres fall off a cliff, it doesn't really matter too much because he's just getting closer and closer. Like, the gap is so big, it doesn't matter. Norris will never overtake him anyway. We've got 15 laps left of this race. So unless there's a massive tyre drop-off cliff, it looks to be Leclerc is still on that podium's position. All right, we're getting so close to hitting 20,000 viewers. If you guys haven't hit the like button or subscribed, please be sure to do so. We're getting so close to 35k as well. yeah, we're 150 subscribers away. So if you guys want to hit the subscribe button, it would really mean the world to me. So everyone that has been watching, thank you so much. All right, yeah, Leclerc's just come over the radio. Let's go. He's very, very happy indeed. And the problem is Hamilton has got DRS on Pierre Gasly, and Gasly has got DRS on Alex Albon, and that is why Hamilton has been stuck behind him for so many laps. And in fact, just then, Hamilton has now dropped off the back of Pierre Gasly because his tyres have been overheating so much. Charles Leclerc has come into the pits. Leclerc has done the different strategy. He's boxed, and he's come into the pits now. He is. Once he comes out, I think he'll be 30 seconds behind Verstappen or something. I don't know if he'll be able to catch up or not, but let's look at Leclerc's sector times once he comes out of the pit lane, because I assume there's going to be a lot of purple. The lead between himself and Perez is 13 seconds now. Leclerc's out of the pits. Let's look at his sector times as he is driving out. Oh, wrong driver. So there we go. Charles Leclerc. Let's look at his laps. So obviously it's the first couple of sectors, his tyres are going to be cold. So that's why he's getting yellow things there. But he's on soft tyres now, and he's got 15 laps left of this race. I have a feeling he's going to be setting some fastest laps of the race. There we go. All right. So, that's very weird. I don't know why he's setting yellow sectors. Oh, there we go, green. And I assume the next ones will probably be purple. He's right on the back of Lando Norris as well. Oh, in fact, yeah, Lando Norris is in third place. So if Lando Norris can, in fact, defend against Charles Leclerc for 13 laps, he could score a podium. It'll be pretty risky, pretty difficult, but there we go. All right, I'm just going to turn that off and turn it on in a while. Whoops. There we go. But nevertheless, we've got Leclerc and Norris going into the pits. All right. Lando is currently on the podium, but the gap between Norris and Leclerc is 1 second, and I have a feeling it's going to go down very, very quickly indeed. All right, guys, so here we go. Leclerc coming out the final corner. So is Lando Norris going down the straights. Sergio Perez has also come into the pits as well. Norris versus Verstappen, Norris versus Leclerc going down the start finish straight. Leclerc gets past. Norris does not fight it too much. It's not worth the risk. He's already going to score so many points being in fourth place, so he's decided not to risk it. Sergio Perez comes out of the pit lane, and he comes out. Where does he come out? In front of Charles Leclerc as far as... Oh, no, he's behind Charles Leclerc. Is he? No, wait, where is it? Yeah, no, he's in front. Okay, look, he's just teleported. So Perez is ahead of Charles Leclerc. The gap is 1.6 seconds, though. So Leclerc has the warmed up tyres. So let's look at these sector times now from Charles Leclerc. Look at that, purple. And I'm expecting another... Oh, it's yellow. Okay, very weird. But Leclerc will be chasing behind Sergio Perez. This is good. Do you guys want to see this, where I select Leclerc and Perez, and then it's like... both drivers are highlighted when they're having a little battle. I don't know. If you guys like that, then let me know. Is this good? Comparing two drivers. Right, there we go. But basically what it is, whenever the track is red, that means Charles Leclerc is the faster driver, and whenever the track is blue, Sergio Perez is the faster driver. So the track majorly right now is red, and look at that, Leclerc fastest lap of the race as well. So Leclerc is quicker. Look at that, a completely red track. So that means Leclerc is faster across every single corner compared to Sergio Perez. Now going through into turn number one, half a second is the gap. He decides not to risk it this time because it would be a bit stupid to go for a dive bomb that far back. And he's right on the tail of Sergio Perez, and this gives him one more chance to get that second position. All right. So there we go. All right, let's see. I'm pretty sure it's just going to be red the whole time. So I'm going to turn it off. Oh, look, there we go. Sergio Perez. Oh no, let's turn that off. There we go. But Leclerc is gaining on Sergio Perez every single corner now. We've got some team radio from Lance Stroll. He's currently in 10th position. Let's just see what he has to say, and then we'll get back to the battle between Leclerc and Perez.
Okay, Lance, apart from turn 9, pick up the pace a bit. You can push more, but save in 9.
Okay, so turn number 9 is... I think it's the corner which Daniel Ricciardo has just gone through. That's the corner where you get a lot of tyre wear because it's a high-speed corner. So he's been told to not push too hard in that corner. He can push hard everywhere else. Oh, Verstappen has also pit as well. So all the top three, they had such a big gap. They just decided to pit and just get fresh sets of tyres and drive to the end on softs, not risking a puncture or anything. So good strategy call there from the Red Bull guys. Leclerc now is half a second behind Sergio Perez and does not make a move going into turn number 1. And I think this is the thing. Perez now, he's got 11 laps to defend against Charles Leclerc. Leclerc has the faster car, and I think Leclerc's slightly faster in terms of... Oh no, I think Leclerc's just the faster driver, is the faster driver compared to Sergio Perez in this situation right now. So Leclerc will have battery because he's been sat behind, and what he did was he basically... 5-10 laps before he pitted, he charged his battery up completely. Sergio Perez wasn't doing the exact same. So in, I think, around 5-6 laps, Sergio Perez's battery is going to get completely depleted, whereas Charles Leclerc will still have battery power left and be able to make an overtake. So, we've got a yellow flag. This is going to make things more interesting. What's happened here? Charles Leclerc has spun. On the track. He was chasing behind Sergio Perez, and he has spun, and he's got back onto the track now, but Leclerc has lost the position to Lando Norris. Oh my God, that is so unfortunate. Can we get an F? Can we get one F in the chat for Charles Leclerc? Guys, I really do appreciate you guys in the chat, but if you guys do spam, you probably will be banned. So just one singular F in the chat for Charles Leclerc, and Lando Norris could score a podium. This is it now. He's lost another position. He's gone into the pits now. So Leclerc, it's massive, horrible day for Ferrari. They've gone from being in second place at the start of this race, now all the way down into 6th after Leclerc pits. It's just made a bit of a mistake there. So there we go. All right, guys, that's definitely enough Fs, and I've definitely seen a couple of you guys spam it twice, so I'd appreciate it if you guys stopped. But back to the race, we have Leclerc. He's come out of the pit lane in 6th position, and yeah, not great for him. It looks like he's getting a new front wing as well, because there's a bit of damage there, and he's basically threw that away. Oh, yeah, Leclerc is damaged. He's into the spin. The crowd are very sad. Obviously, it's the Tifosi. And he was pushing very hard to chase Sergio Perez down. He lost control, hit the barriers, and he's got a new front wing, come out of the pit lane now, but he's in 8th position, and Lando Norris is well on his way to a podium. All right. I think next time I just won't do an F in the chat because so many people were just spamming. But yeah, the crowd is very sad indeed, because the Tifosi were here to see at least Ferrari get a podium, and here they are in 9th place and a DNF. So a weekend to forget for Ferrari, and a weekend where Red Bull are going to be extremely happy. Leclerc gets past Sebastian Vettel. He was already ahead of Sebastian Vettel. Never mind. I don't know what that is. A bit of a glitch, maybe. I'm not exactly sure. But there we go. All right. We hit 35k subs. Wow. Yeah. Crazy. Everyone that is subscribed, thank you so much. It's definitely not Lando's first podium, so cry pit. I don't know why you're spamming that. Lando Norris, though, first podium for this season, and Max Verstappen setting the fastest lap of this race by the looks of it, and I think he's going to be getting he's going to be getting the fastest lap of the race and the fastest point as well. Oh, someone super chatted. Albin Quaz. Oh, you've donated. You donated before as well, so thank you for the second donation of the stream. This is good for the championship battle. Indeed, it is. The gap between Leclerc and Verstappen in terms of championship before today's race was pretty massive. Let me just get the standings up. So Leclerc was on 78 points and Verstappen was on 33 points. And the Constructors' Championship, Ferrari on 116 and Red Bull are on 69. And if we just look at the championship points now, let's see the points. Now this is going to put Max Verstappen on 51 points, and Charles Leclerc will be on like 79 or something. So it brings the gap a lot closer together. And in terms of the Red Bull, in terms of how much closer Red Bull get, I think they gain around about 35 points. So that's going to put them around about 100 or so points with Ferrari on 116. So it really closes up the championship. That's just some Yeah, quick maths. There we go. Yeah, they were on 69 points. Yeah, Red Bull on 69 points. Absolute pure comedy, guys. Funny number, yeah, I guess. Okay, so Leclerc's just overtaken Kevin Magnussen, which is to be expected. Leclerc's on fresh set of soft tyres in the Ferrari. So nice job there. Max has got the fastest lap of the race with 6 laps remaining of this race. And all right. Also, guys, if you haven't hit the like button as well, please be sure to do so. We're so close to hitting 4,000 likes, and if you haven't subscribed as well, be sure to do that. We're trying to hit as many subscribers as possible. Of course, it is a YouTube channel, and I do stream every single weekend for qualifying and the race. So go ahead and turn the notification bell on as well. Back to the race, so Leclerc closing up on Sebastian Vettel. I don't know if he's going to get that close to him, but we'll have to wait and see. Hamilton, someone wants a Hamilton update. Hamilton is in 14th position, and he's not close to overtaking Pierre Gasly whatsoever. Very big difference, though. George Russell up in 4th, Lewis Hamilton down in 14th. Yeah, I think George Russell just got a very good race start, and the race just went up and up from him, up and up from there. But it's not great for George Russell. I mean, not great for Lewis Hamilton, sorry. He didn't get a good race start, and then the race has kind of just gone downwards and downwards. So there we go. Yeah, let's just ban some of these spammers because slightly annoying. Aston Martin team is sleeping. They forgot to change Seb tyres doing 40 laps on. Well, the thing is, if Sebastian Vettel pits now, then he's going to come out in probably 11th place and not score any points. So Aston Martin doing the correct thing there to keep Seb Vettel out. Because otherwise they're going to they're going to lose a couple of positions after going to the pits. There are 6 laps remaining of this race. Oh no, 5 laps. Sorry, I keep on saying one more extra. So there we go. Can Leclerc just salvage a couple of points, maybe catching up to Vettel, and maybe catching up to Tsunoda? We'll have to wait and see. There's 5 laps remaining, and he's got a 2.5 second gap to Sebastian Vettel. Yeah, there we go. So Sebastian Vettel. Jeez, I was so confused. All right. So Jackson Britain, thank you for the £1 donation. Do appreciate it. Everyone that has donated in the chat, thank you so much. It's really appreciated. And everyone who's typing in the chat or liked or subscribed, all of you, absolutely amazing. Yeah, I don't know what else to say really. But Max Verstappen is leading the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix. Actually, I just want to point out how long this name is. The name of this race is called the Formula One Rolex Gran Premio Made in Italy del Emilia-Romagna 2022 Grand Prix. It's a rather long name, isn't it? Yeah, but nevertheless, Max Verstappen is leading this race with a 13-second lead over his teammate, and Lando Norris is in the podium positions with George Russell 6 seconds behind him. So it's going to be very tough for him to catch up. And it could be a very nice first podium for Lando Norris and a very nice recovery, very nice gift back to McLaren, in fact, because McLaren, they've worked so hard over the start of this season because they were really struggling at the start of this race. And now they're all the way up into 3rd place, scoring a podium. So McLaren engineers definitely deserve a lot of credit there. Jolanda Schnitzer, thank you for the donation. Really do appreciate it. And everyone, just everyone, thank you so much. It helps out the channel so much. All right, so let's see. We have now got. Ooh, what else is going on track? We got Leclerc closing up on Vettel. Let's see what this battle's going to be. Not really that much of a battle. Leclerc just breezes down the straight, and he's ahead of Sebastian Vettel. The slipstream and the DRS, there was nothing Vettel could really do, and just a nice overtake there from Charles Leclerc on Sebastian Vettel. So he's up into now 7th position. Next up is Yuki Tsunoda, and I think he could catch up to him because the gap, the pace difference between Tsunoda and Leclerc is around about 1.5 seconds a lap, so he's not got too long until he catches up. What happened to Leclerc? Leclerc spun while trying to catch up to Sergio Perez. He was really attacking the curbs, and then he spun, and then that's it. Oh, Super Noob Gaming is spamming in the chat. This guy's voice is so annoying. I'm assuming you're talking about me. Well, if my voice is annoying, then you just leave the stream. It's quite simple. But yeah, I don't know why you would say that. We've got team radio from Nicholas Latifi. He's in 16th place. Done a pretty good job of keeping it out of the barriers. Let's see what he has to say.
Can it keep being a short shower will hit the track potentially before the end of the race? Will you arrive turn 7 and 9?
All right, so he's just been told to maintain his tyres, really. Everyone's kind of struggling. They've done 40 laps on these tyres, and Pirelli said you could only do 30 laps. So all of the F1 drivers doing a solid job there. And yeah, there we go. All right, Russell versus Bottas. Someone pointed out in the chat, Nescafe pointed out in the chat, I totally ignored the fact that there was Russell versus Bottas going on. So sorry about that, but here we go. Russell, the gap between the two drivers is 0.6 of a second. Bottas is right on Russell's tail, going through now Acqua Minerale and up into Variante Alta. Bottas is putting loads of pressure on him, and Bottas and Leclerc and Russell both pitted on the same lap, so their tires are the exact same. They've done the same amount of laps on those tires. There's been a message to Russell that there's going to be light rain on the last 2 laps of this race. So we've got now them coming through the final corner now. Bottas has got the slipstream, he's got the DRS, he's got the faster Ferrari engine, but he cannot, he's not closing the gap that much against George Russell. I have a feeling George Russell saved up quite a bit of battery for this situation here. Bottas, in fact, side by side going into turn number 1. Don't know where he got that top speed from, but George Russell defends and he still has that lead. But one more, there are 2 laps remaining of this race, and Bottas could be going for a final lap overtake for 4th position, which would be absolutely great. Carlos Sainz crashed out at the start of this race. He turned in on Daniel Ricciardo, so that's why he's out. Charles Leclerc, he spun on a curb while trying to catch up to Sergio Perez. That's why he's in 7th position. Anyone wondering about Fernando Alonso, he had damage at the start of this race. He got contact and he got damage there. So that's what happened to all of those drivers. And Daniel Ricciardo got caught up at the start of the first lap incident and he spun, and that's why he's all the way down there as well. But this is it now. The second to last lap of the race. Valtteri Bottas versus George Russell. They're now once again coming into the final 2 corners. It's a very downhill braking zone here. And we'll see what the drivers can do and if they make any sort of mistakes. All right. So let's go. We've got them coming out the final 2 corners. This time Bottas slightly closer than he was the last time. And that's going to help him a lot in terms of the DRS and the slipstream. Here he goes. He's a lot closer than he was at this point in the straight last lap. He is now side by side with George Russell. But he decides to back out of it. George Russell making some slightly erratic movements going down the straight. Valtteri Bottas backs out of it. So this will be... This is the second to last lap of the race for those 2 drivers. Max Verstappen is nearly about to start the final lap of the race. Perez and Pele Jutterstrom has just donated 50 sec. Thank you for the donation. Thank you. You've just said thanks. Well, thank you. Really do appreciate it. I mean, you guys are the reason I can do this, and your chat is absolutely lovely. So thank you there. Leclerc has just overtaken Yuki Tsunoda, and next up on his list is Valtteri Bottas. That's way too far away though, so I don't think that's happening. But Verstappen now starts the final lap of the race. He's coming through sector number 1, 15 seconds ahead of his teammate, and it looks to be a pretty smooth victory for Max Verstappen there. He's still got the fastest lap of the race as well. I don't think Leclerc will be able to steal that away from him unless he can set some crazy sector times right now, but he's got a bit of dirty air and some blue flags. Verstappen's got the fastest lap of the race. Coming through now, Piriotelli. Nice, just flick to the left, keeps it within track limits. Very nice job indeed. So there we go. Verstappen now. And just the battle between between Bottas and Russell. They're going down the straights. Bottas decides to go for a move into turn number 1, but once again, he does not go for it against George Russell. So this is flashbacks to last year where both of those drivers crashed going into a battle at turn number 1, but neither of the 2 drivers go for Bottas doesn't go for an overtake. DCS Beamer, thank you for the donation. I really do appreciate it. Another donation from you. Thank you so much. We've got Verstappen coming out the final corner now. He crosses the line to win the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix. What a drive from Max Verstappen, just from start to finish, consistent lap after consistent lap. And he has taken that victory, and a very well-deserved victory victory indeed. And then Sergio Perez comes home in second place. He's done an amazing job as well. And Red Bull are back in the Constructors' Championship fight, and so is Max Verstappen in the Drivers' Championship. Lando Norris coming out the final two corners now. He keeps it together, and a very nice exit indeed, and he crosses the line for his first ever podium in this season, and I have a feeling there's some more to come as well, because Lando Norris is very much on form. Third place for McLaren, and a lot of hard work went on at that McLaren factory for this. C. Paul has just donated 50 Danish kroner. Thank you for the donation. Really do appreciate it. Thank you so much. And then we've got George Russell, who crosses the line in fourth. Valtteri Bottas, who is in fifth. He was 0.6 of a second behind George Russell going down the straight, but unfortunately couldn't get that victory. Couldn't make that overtake stick. And then Charles Leclerc crosses the line in sixth position after a horrible spin while trying to catch up to Sergio Perez. Someone, MCTG, asked for Supermax. Unfortunately, I can't play Supermax anymore because they copyrighted the song, so I can't play Supermax, which is really unfortunate. But there we go. And then we got Yuki Tsunoda in 7th place. He qualified in 16th. Now he's all the way up into 7th. Great drive for him. Sebastian Vettel in 8th place. You'll love to see it. First points for Aston Martin. And then Kevin Magnussen in 9th, scoring some more points for Haas, which is great. And double points for Aston Martin, in fact, with Lance Stroll in 10th place. Alex Albon in 11th, just missing out. Same said for Pierre Gasly. Hamilton having a horrible race stuck behind that AlphaTauri, just not being able to get close enough because Gasly had DRS on someone else. And yeah, there we go. What a crazy race it has been. We've got another donation from Shalom. Thank you so much. Everyone that has donated, thank you. I really do appreciate it. Everyone that's subscribed as well. I don't know how many subscribers we're on. We're on 35.5k subscribers. Absolutely insane. Thank you everyone for tuning in. It is absolutely wonderful. All right. And then who else do we have? Esteban Ocon had a gearbox issue in qualifying, didn't get any higher up really, couldn't make any overtakes stick. Guan Yu Zhou crashed out yesterday. He was amazing in qualifying in Q1, and then it's just been bad luck after bad luck for him. So he's down in 15th. Nicolas Latifi is in 16th place. Mick Schumacher is in 17th after spinning at the curb where Charles Leclerc spun as well. So both drivers spinning at the same place. Daniel Ricciardo getting caught out at lap number 1 with no fault of his own in 18th. And then we have Alonso and Sainz, both Spaniards, out of the race as DNFs. There we go. What a race it has been. Everyone that has tuned in, really do appreciate it. Yeah. Wow. I mean, I don't know what to say. It's so crazy. Leclerc could have definitely got third. He's kind of just thrown it away, and the crowd were very disappointed. I mean, you could hear it. They were groaning, and you could genuinely hear it over the thing. So, yeah, absolutely crazy. Wow, what happened to Ricciardo? Got caught out at lap number 1, so Carlos Sainz turned in on him. Oh, well, no, Mick Schumacher hit him from the rear, and then because Mick Schumacher hit him from the rear, Ricciardo was further forward than he initially expected, and then Carlos Sainz turned in on him, and that really just spun him round, and that was that. The race ruined. All right. Ooh. Thank you for the commentary. Well, very much thank you to you guys as well. I will make sure that next weekend I don't have the chat up on stream because most of you guys haven't been asking for it. There are some of you guys obviously who are watching on the TV, watching my race and commentary on the TV, and you can't get the chat up. But I think there's a lot less of you compared to the people that want the people that don't want the chat up, because it does use quite a bit of space up on the stream, and I can make the map bigger, which is quite a lot of what people wanted. Who won the vote? I don't know who got drive of the day, in fact. Who's your guide? Who's your drive of the day, in fact? So let me know in the chat, and let me know what you thought of this race out of 10. Like, what would you say it was, in terms of how interesting it is? So let me know that in the chat. Or that in the chat, that rhymes, doesn't it? It was Max Verstappen. Oh no, I don't know who got the drive of the day, but Sergio Perez. This is what you deserve. Very happy for all of you. So yeah, and then Oh yeah, Max Verstappen also gets 26 points because he got the fastest lap of the race. That won't work. I see a message in the chat, but I don't know if I'm gonna have two people on stream. It's quite a lot of effort, and I might miss some streams as well. So I'll have to wait and see. But there we go. Norris for drive of the day. Oh yeah, definitely Norris in third position. He's done a great job. In fact, he was putting in consistent laps, no crazy overtakes or anything like that. But just a great job. And obviously he managed his race in the rain. Didn't make any mistakes. And the race was a 10 out of 10. Yeah, excellent sprint race. Finished to a podium as well. Yeah, wow. 8 out of 10. Yeah, pretty good. Norris's drive of the day. Lovely. Oh, also, guys, there are still 10,000 of you watching. This is pretty crazy. There is links to F1 merch in the description. So if you guys do want to check that out, then please be sure to do so. There is F1 merch. It's stuff on discount, and it helps out the channel as well. I get a percentage cut of it, so there we go. Your driver of the day, Valtteri Bottas. Yeah, Valtteri Bottas 5th position, actually very good for that Alfa Romeo. So great drive from loads of drivers all around the paddock. Zach Stutzman, thank you for the $5 donation. Pretty sweet race, to be honest. Tsunoda definitely deserves drive of the day with this insane drive. Yeah. Tsunoda up into 7th place. He started qualifying in 16th, and then I think he moved up to 12th in sprint quali, and now he's up into 7th. So Tsunoda's done a very consistent job here, and he actually did a good job when Pierre Gasly couldn't. So nevertheless, a very, very good job there from Yuki Tsunoda. Diego Maga, I'm not going to say that, but thank you for that message in the chat. Do appreciate it. All right. Also, since we got 8,000 you watching, and I still have well, do you guys want to do an F1 championship poll? The next race is in Miami. First ever F1 race in Miami, and it's in 2 weeks' time. So I will be streaming that, the quali and the race. So be sure to tune in. F1 championship quiz. Yes or no? I'm just going to ask you in the chat, and there we go. What happened to Hamilton? Just had a bad start of the race, and then had a bad, and then the race kind of just went downhill from there, really. So there we go. Mike Scott, fastest lap of the race. Yeah. If you guys haven't, basically how it works is if you look at the number for Max Verstappen there, it's number 1 and it's purple. So whichever driver's the fastest lap of the race, they have a little purple thing next to their name. So there we go. Brendan Cunningham, great job on this, friend. Congratulations on the channel growth. Thank you. Lovely. I mean, wow, this is I'm pretty sure this is the highest amount of donations I've ever got in a stream as well. Really do appreciate it. Thank you so much. It is very lovely to have all of you guys support on board. You guys want to do a championship quiz, right? Well, I'm gonna try and find one, and then I'll put it on stream. All right, so this is F1 World Champions. So let's see how this is going to work. All right, well, I'll try and do it then. Do you think Mercedes will be better next season? Leclerc spun. Your sub goal is stuck. Yeah, my sub goal is broken. It's like Streamlabs doesn't update for some reason. But yeah, we hit 35k, which is very, very cool indeed. So there we go. All right, I'm just going to read out the quotes of what happened for today's race. What the drivers said. So Max Verstappen said already yesterday and the day before we were on it, and it was looking like a strong weekend. As a team, we did everything well, and this 1-2 is well deserved. Start was important, but also judging the conditions and when to swap onto slicks. Everything was well managed. Sergio Perez has said it was really intense to fight with Leclerc. I think it's the most important was not making mistakes. In these conditions, it was so tricky for us. We've been so unlucky, and it's a difficult start for this year, but we deserve this. And then Lando Norris said, an amazing race and an amazing weekend, to be honest. The team deserve it. From where we were in race 1 to a podium, it's amazing. I like these conditions, the same to last year. So, yeah, absolutely wonderful, really. Yeah, very, very crazy indeed. I'm going to see if I can load up a quiz, an F1 World Championship quiz. So what we're going to do is All we've got to do is name every single F1 championship. Everyone name every single F1 champion. Yeah, drivers championship, drivers champion. What am I saying? Yeah, that. If you comment, someone will go, where do you find the podium celebration? I don't know. I'm not watching the podium celebration right now, to be honest. Right, so let's go. Right, so does that come up? Okay, let's just move that there. So what we've got to do is name every single F1 world champion. So let's just, right, get rid of this, get rid of this. Where is it? And move that over there. And then you guys can see the chat over there. And basically, we've got to name every single world championship. So let's just start. So we've got Verstappen. And then we've got, let's see, Hamilton, Vettel, then Rosberg. Let's see, who else is there? So in 2009, it was Jenson Button. And then 2007, it was Kimi Raikkonen. Can you just guess Kimi? Because I don't know how to spell Raikkonen. Raikkonen. There we go. Let's see. 2006. Who was that? It was Alonso, wasn't it? Alonso. Let's see. Let's scroll down. Oh, Keke Rosberg. We got Keke Rosberg as well. Very cool. And then 2004. Well, Schumacher, of course. Schumacher. There we go. Finland. It was Mika Hakkinen, wasn't it? Hakkinen. 1997. Was it Gilles Villeneuve? Oh, well, Senna, of course. Yeah, Senna, Prost. There was Nigel Mansell, wasn't it? Didn't Nigel Mansell win a championship? Oh, we've only got 5 minutes. Oh, God. Let's see. Who else was there? There was... Oh, Damon Hill. Damon Hill. Oh, Damon Hill, Graham Hill, Phil Hill. Wow. That was quite a lot. So there was Fangio, of course. Yeah, Fangio. Who else was there? There was Fariner. I remember that because Vettel said it. Fariner. Let's see. Who won the 1997? Was it Gilles Villeneuve? I don't know how to spell Villeneuve. So if someone can type it in the chat, that would be lovely. Villeneuve. Is that how you... I don't know. In 1997, who was Brazil? I have no idea. Let's see. Who are the old... Oh, Niki Lauda. Niki Lauda won a championship. James Hunt. Who else won? Villeneuve. Okay, so that's how you spell Villeneuve. Villeneuve. Oh, it's not... Oh, did I mistype it or am I just... W-I-L... Wait, has it guessed it already or what? Oh, Ascari. Yeah, Ascari won. Ascari, let's see. Moss. Yeah. Oh, Moss hasn't come up. Australian, UK. Let's see. New Zealand, Austria. Austria. Who is Austrian? Alberto Ascari. Coulthard. Did Coulthard win the championship? Oh, Nelson Piquet. Yeah, Piquet. Piquet won a championship. Villeneuve. Oh, there we go. That's the right spelling. Brabham. Yeah. Brabham. Who else? Jim Clark. Clark, yeah. Denny Hume. Okay, Hume. I don't know this guy. Prost, I've already guessed Prost. Scheckter. Oh yeah, Jody Scheckter. How do you spell that? Scheckter. Okay, that worked. Prost. Did Coulthard win a championship? I'm pretty sure Coulthard hasn't won a championship. Mike Hawthorne. Yeah. Hawthorne. Thorne, there we go. Rindt, oh yeah, Jock and Rindt. Let's see, Fittipaldi, yep, that's right, Fittipaldi. Let's see, who else is there? Oh, we're actually quite close. We're missing 1990, 1978, 1973, and 1971, 1969. Let's see, Jackie Stewart, oh yeah. Stewart. There we go, Jackie Stewart. Alan Jones is... I don't know about this, but Alan Jones, cool. We've already guessed PK. John Surtees. Is that how you spell it? Have I spelled it right? So Jones. I've already guessed Jones. Mario Andretti. Oh, Mario Andretti is the USA guy. Yeah. Andretti. Oh no, I think I spelled it wrong. Oh, there we go. Andretti. So it's just this, the 1964 F1 World Championship. We've got 1 minute 40. Does anyone know? I mean, you guys might just look it up. I don't know. Jim Clark. I've already guessed Jim Clark. Andretti. We've guessed Andretti. Let's see. Ooh. Jody Scheckter. All right. I think I already guessed Scheckter. But sure. Scheckter. Yeah, no, I've already guessed him. Oh, Surtees, right. That's how you spell it. Surtees. There we go. Let's go. We win. We got it. 100%. Pretty sick. We named every F1 championship. Every F1 champion. So let's see which people. So Danny Hume, we had some people guessing that. Mike Hawthorne. So yeah, pretty sick. So I would say that's a pretty successful stream. I think we're going to end it there. I think that's been, yeah, we don't need to look at the weather in Italy anymore. So that's been the stream. Thank you everyone for tuning in. I will be streaming for the race in Miami, of course. My Instagram and Twitter is F1_gamer_5. The Discord links are in the description. And then I'm just gonna do all the plugging. There's F1 merch links in the description as well. And if you guys have any feedback for my commentary as well, then there is a survey in the description, which if you fill out, then that would really help out. And also, oh yeah, Kiers, yeah, I'll be waiting for that message on how to improve my commentary. But otherwise, guys, it has been an absolutely amazing stream. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll see you in 2 weeks' time in Miami. Yeah, it's been absolutely amazing. What a stream it has been. So have a nice morning, day, afternoon, evening, or night, depending on where you are in the world. And I shall see you guys in 2 weeks' time.